on the internet. It's
on the
happening.
internet.
It's happening now. Welcome, my friends. How's everybody doing? Hello. Happy Mother's Day.
There we go. Grace had the better one, I think, if we're doing a contest right now.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I didn't even do one, so.
Was that Fitzy? No, it's still not. Pretty good one.
Arms,
Josh,
right?
yours sounds like a fork in a sink. That's the problem.
Yeah. It's not whiny enough.
All right, I'll work on it.
I love the idea that people are just trickling in as we make like guttural noises at one another. That's very Star Warsian, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We should talk about languages. This is really interesting. You can't all understand one another, which is kind of fun.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, we'll get there when we get there, I guess. It's maybe more fun to figure it out in the moment. Is it?
Great. Yes, I think it's more fun in the moment.
Yeah.
It is. Many Wookiees in the party. Hello, friends. Welcome.
Okay,
Happy Mother's Day.
This is good.
Yeah. Hey, hello. Huzzah.
Hello.
Welcome.
Happy Mother's Day to Padme Amidala.
Oh, indeed.
And to Shmi.
Happy Mother's Day to Shmi.
Oof, too
Happy
soon.
Shmi's Day.
Too soon. You guys, I'm very excited. This is gonna, I think, be a fun evening. I don't know how I lured all you into this, but it was pretty easy. So I guess, yeah.
You asked.
You asked.
There were a lot of credits. Credits changed hands.
Ooh.
You know,
A lot of.
I'm in it for the money. So.
I love it. Well. Folks are trickling in. This feels good. This feels exciting. Does anybody have any questions? I am looking very ethereal. There's light trickling in my window.
I like
it. Will grow dark and I'll
I
vanish.
think it works really well.
Yeah, I think it's a nice look.
You look like a Force ghost.
Are you wearing your Wookiee coat?
Yeah, I have to,
good
right?
man.
I may overheat at some point, but for now, let us be ensorcelled in fur. Yeah.
Wow, ensorcelled in fur.
That's definitely.
This is what you come to DM Philly for.
It is.
This is the good stuff.
That was a definite inappropriate use of vocabulary, but I'll take it. Most people don't even know what it means. It's fine.
Yep, that's how I get by personally.
Yeah.
Say a
Right,
word that's not right, but people haven't heard it before, so they assume it is.
You just say it
I
with
always
confidence.
say the right word.
Yeah. Dang ripe, Grace. Dang ripe. So we are here. We're going to play a Star Wars RPG. Yeah. Josh,
Sure are.
You look
I'm
nervous.
Star Wars.
I'm not nervous. Am I yeah. I'm just trying to get in character.
Okay.
I think we're just gonna be. I mean, Rich is really the one that has like his hands on all the levers right now, trying to maneuver the ship. We are all just passengers, and like we're telling him where to go, and he's like, "All right, I guess I'll do this." He's the one that manages all of these game tactics, of which we know very little. So, the ball is in his court that he very seldomly hits over to us to try to whack it back over at him.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready to create the volley from the game master to the player characters. We have rallied. We're going to play the Star Wars RPG. There's a bunch of our friends hanging out in the chat. We are recording this for a podcast, so please don't take it personally if I ignore all your questions and all the stuff that you're saying here. At the end, once we have wrapped, I'm happy to hang out and answer any questions. So if you want to jot stuff down as we go, feel free. We'll talk a little bit about mechanics, but we're not looking to get mired in rules too much. This is us hanging out to tell a cool Star Wars story, much less so than exploring the depth of mechanics of this crazy game. Yeah, that's my spiel. I don't know if there's anything else we should address. If you guys don't have any questions, we could
Part of me was very sick when you're like, we're not going to mired in rules. I love rules. But then you're like, we'll play a fun Star Wars story. And my heart blossomed again. So
right. Good. Yeah. You know how I love rules too, Grace. I really do. I love them very much.
I love that you're going to have fun with the rules tonight. So
yes. Yes, I will be the master of ceremonies, the game master, the rule master. I will try to do my thing and create a dynamic experience for you guys. Yeah, that's my spiel. I think from there
I'm really
we should
excited.
I am too. I'm pretty hype. I have been in a Star Wars coma for 24 hours, you guys.
It's been a beautiful thing to behold from a distance.
I know. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that once we actually officially start. But yeah, you have been fully immersed, I would say, for the past day in the lore.
Scorseled? What is the
Scorseled,
It's
Scorseled. Yeah,
Scorseled.
it's Scorseled. Yeah, it's Scorseled by Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's so wizard, you guys.
It is really wizard.
It's pretty wizard.
It's
Yeah.
very wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that from there, we should record a podcast. What do you say, Mike?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Yeah. I'm good to get into it as long as you all are set up and ready to actually officially
I'm
do
gonna
this thing.
I'm gonna mute myself. You're gonna take the wheel
Yep.
here. Okay.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special Star Wars podcast. No, it is not holiday special, but we are indeed celebrating perhaps a holiday a little bit belatedly. Happy May the 4th or Revenge of the 5th, whichever one you may celebrate, if not both, to everybody out there. We are here today as we are but a few weeks away from the dawn of brand new Star Wars content in a very big way, with Obi-Wan coming to Disney Plus on May 27th. But we just can't get enough Star Wars. Of course, this is Star Wars month, and we figured let's dip our toes into some uncharted waters. Let's walk into this veritable cantina, a place where games do like to be played. And so we are here today appropriately to play a game. As a group of us have come together to play a Star Wars role-playing game. Yes, this is a thing. I was not aware of this personally before a couple of weeks ago. I'm sure many of us on the podcast and many of you listening were not aware either, but it is a thing, and we are going to be playing it today. Now, of course, I cannot say game and master without this guy's name being in the sentence, especially considering he has become so synonymous with just the concept of Star Wars that he has spent the past 24 hours in that galaxy far, far away. Of course, he is the co-host of many of our Star Wars podcasts, including the upcoming Obi-Wan coverage. He is the great DM Philly. How you doing?
Mike, that was quite an intro. I'm emerging from my Star Wars coma of the last 24 hours. I have been ensorcelled in Star Wars. It's the word of the day. And it's been just delightful. It's been a delightful experience, Mike. I'm like so excited that we've rounded up this crew to play the newest of the Star Wars RPGs. Star Wars actually very like kind of storied history with role-playing games, but it goes back almost as long as Dungeons and Dragons. For as long as people have been like rolling dice, telling stories with their imaginations. They've been telling Star Wars stories. That doesn't quite make sense, but something like that. You get my drift.
Yeah, Ensorcelled sounds like the name of, I don't know, some sort of like Twi'lek gangster, N.Sorcelled.
Who is like, Ensorcelled? Yeah.
Exactly. Well, let me ask that question actually to someone who would be able to do so. Of course, you heard her on the very last Star Wars podcast that happened, holding the reins when it came to the top 10 list of Star Wars movies and TV shows as ranked by the patrons of post-show recaps. I'm, of course, talking about the great Grace Leader. Grace, who is Ensorcelled?
Yeah, that's a good question, but definitely sounds like a Star Wars name for sure. Excited to be here, Rich. Just have one request. Never tell me the odds tonight when I go to roll.
I'm never going to tell you the odds. It's
good.
No chance, Grace.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. Excited to be here.
Yeah, we are very excited to have you. Now, of course, let's continue to balloon this crew out because every group needs somebody who's there with a quip. And I cannot think of the quippiest man who's fast on the trigger, just like Han Solo or Greedo, depending on the edition that you are watching, and is, of course, someone who you also heard on the Top 10 Star Wars Movie and TV Shows podcast, the great Josh Wigler.
Quip. I don't know. I don't think that quite did it.
Who's Quip? That could be a Star Wars name.
Oh, Quip.
Yep.
That's a droid.
I did hear
Yeah.
somebody recently told me that the who is way easier if you just assume that they're a Star Wars character. You don't have to make a plan.
Oh, yes.
Quip could absolutely be a Star Wars character.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Well, all you need to do when it comes to a Star Wars character is take like a regular ass government name and then like smush a bunch of syllables together.
Yeah.
Ralph Verschnigna. It's like, oh, Ralph Verschnigna, of course. He's the man who sells blue milk.
Ralph Verschnigna.
I want to know who Ralph Verschnigna is. That Mike's like a regular name. Ralph Verschnigna. Yeah, change it real quick. Yeah.
Ralph Verschnigna.
Ralph Verschnigna. Now, is that Ralph's platform that Ralph is out here stumping for Schnigna.
Well, I think that's the thing. It turns into that platform, right? When
Uh-huh.
he's like, all right, I'm finally running for mayor. Get out of the way, Mary Hassenpfeffer. Like, I'm taking you over. Ralph
Verschigna might be a planet.
Yeah.
Ralph
Verschigna definitely is a planet in the Outer Rim.
District 12, please. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we still have one more person here, and I may have just accidentally spelled today as Ralph Verschigna. I'm not entirely sure. But you cannot talk about Star Wars without talking about this guy. He has to be, with no offense to the man that just spent the past sunrise and sunset devoted to the franchise, one of the most committed Star Wars fans I know. I'm, of course, talking about rounding out this group tonight, the great Brennan Fitzpatrick. Brennan, how are you?
I am not in this for your revolution. I'm in it for the money, and I expect to be well paid.
You should not have gone into podcasting then, my friend. That is not
Damn it.
Credits are not good.
Do have bad news for you about that. Yeah.
Oh no.
This deal just keeps getting worse and worse.
Yeah, this deal's getting worse all the time.
Oh my goodness. Well,
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, y'all.
Of course, we're so happy to have you. Yeah, this is gonna be a really fun time. We are very much in uncharted waters in many ways, both when it comes to the game system. I know that Rich is going to do a bit of a briefer as what that is. When it comes to like our own characters, I think with a couple of exceptions, we know very little about who each other are playing. So that's going to be a lot of surprise. And of course, most of all, we have no idea what Rich is throwing us into. To say it is the deep end, I think would be an understatement. It is like a veritable black hole, I suppose, of how deep this goes. Yeah, exactly. And we'll see. Maybe this podcast will not have us digesting for 1,000 years, but we'll see. Or we'll just use our freaking laser gauntlets and booster packs to get out of it, much like Boba Fett did a few months ago. But let's take off the helmet, proverbially speaking. Before we get into the game proper, Rich set us up a little bit for what the hell we just got ourselves into. What exactly are we here to play tonight?
Absolutely. So, much like Dungeons and Dragons, Star Wars has had a ton of role-playing game systems over the years. The newest of them is published by a company called Fantasy Flight Games, and they actually went and built 3 like separate game systems that are all compatible with each other, right? You have Edge of the Empire, which is kind of set in the Outer Rim, scum and villainy, miscreants, running heists and such. You have Force and Destiny, which is like the very Jedi-focused kind of, Republic, the era of the Jedi running wild. And then we have, of course, the Age of Rebellion, rebel scum fighting against the Imperial overlords. All 3 of these games are kind of cross-compatible. It's a very fascinating system. For folks like us who have a love of the genius, perhaps, I've invoked it a lot while I've talked to you guys about this game. The way that we play, we're not going to focus too deeply on mechanics here today. We're here to tell a Star Wars story, not necessarily learn a new game. But I have sorted through the rules, collated, and kind of made sense of them as best I can over the past weeks. So like Abed on an episode of Community, I will manage the mechanics for us tonight. I want you guys to focus on the choices you make. It's a role-playing game. You could do anything. You could try to do anything at least, but there are a few things that you're going to be particularly exceptional at. Everybody's got a few tricks up their sleeves, as it were. The way the game works, for those who are like interested in such a thing, we build dice pools. Whenever the player does a thing, they get bonus dice for environmental circumstances, things beyond their control. They get kind of attribute dice for their natural aptitude at whatever they're trying. And then they get proficiency dice for their training, lining up with that aptitude. So similarly, whenever they're challenged with things, there are setback dice, there are challenge dice and difficulty dice. We end up rolling these fistfuls of dice in this game that have crazy symbols on them. There are no numbers. We don't love math and space, I guess. So I will, like some kind of intergalactic soothsayer, try to interpret the symbols off of this multitude of dice that will be thrown around on our digital tabletop to make sense of what is happening. This is a game of hideous defeats and beautiful victories. You may fail disastrously at the thing you are attempting to accomplish while creating some unforeseen positive outcome. You simultaneously may succeed overwhelmingly at what you're trying to do, only to realize you have complicated circumstances to an even worse degree than they were. before you got involved. So we truly shall follow the dice tonight to see where they go as we go.
Wow. I'll admit, when you first said, like, we're not going to use logic in a Star Wars story, I was like, hold up. My God, that is so outside the realm of Star Wars, but you got me right back there. So yeah, for all intents and purposes, those of you that are fans of role-playing games, especially like Dungeons and Dragons, we are not going to like personally be rolling any dice. I don't know if there's going to be any maps that are being used. Rich, I think it's more theater of the mind stuff
Yes,
today
sir.
that we're going to be describing. So it's a little bit more loosey-goosey, if you will, more outer rim, I would suppose, than like actually, planet side on Coruscant, where maybe they do things a bit more orderly. But I think that's just how we like it tonight.
That is how we like it. I say to anybody who's a fan of the Fantasy Flight games, knows these rules, loves these rules, be kind with me, be gentle. I'm going to omit a lot. I'm going to overlook a lot. We're looking to have fun, have a good time, make sense of the nonsense. And that's really all we can do, right? So
Yes.
I think we'll get to the characters you're playing as they are revealed in our game here. Do you guys have any big questions before we get started?
Are you an angel?
No.
It's the beginning
he
of
is
a
an
long
angel.
love affair.
People who are watching on the stream, Rich did look quite ethereal. Like he was bathed in the two suns of Tatooine in the background. So he did come looking like an angel, I guess, much like Padme did back in episode 1.
That's just the glow off my lightsaber. You all are too kind. Notably, I guess the last thing I will address here for our viewers in the audience, there is a pool of destiny points. These points are both light side and dark. The players can call on these destiny points to increase the likelihood of the things they're trying to do, to boost their moves. Anytime they do so, they give me the power. The light side points flip to dark, and I, in turn, can pull on the destiny points to utilize against them as they fumble through their mishaps tonight. So I guess without further ado, we just should dive in, shall we?
Yeah, I think we
so-
should.
Yeah.
Listen, we're going to be really treated tonight to a lot of Rich's melodious tones, as not only you are going to be setting up exactly where we are and who we are tonight, but also, again, very much getting us from place to place in a manner of speaking. And I am very looking forward to it in very ways.
You're in good hands. In the absence of a visual medium, as we are recording a podcast, I will draw from a much beloved Star Wars property, The Clone Wars. As when we open Clone Wars episodes, some of us may be familiar. So if you all will humor me. Still young, the new Galactic Empire has consolidated their control across the core systems. The Jedi are obliterated after the declaration of Order 66, yet in pockets across the galaxy, rebels rise, pushing back against the far-reaching power of Imperial rule. Emperor Palpatine moves his pieces from the board in Coruscant, seeking unlimited power. But in the Outer Rim, those who frequent these hives of scum and villainy hold little regard for this new government. A rebel agent on Tatooine has just received word of massive troop deployments from an Empire facility on nearby Genosha. A population of Wookiee prisoners are located at the site, as well as the contact with a stash of stolen Imperial transport codes. A short window is opened, leaving the station short-staffed and undermanned, but without a team to strike at the compound. This window may close.
Oh my goodness.
I think the way you just said "ill regard" is gonna
Ill
live
regard.
rent free in my head for a long time. That was incredible.
I think the camera opens on a crystalline blue sky. We catch the sight of contrails of nearby ships leaving the atmosphere from this world we find ourselves on. And as the camera pans sideways, we see two suns in the sky. Pinting down, we catch sight of the sandstone, dirt-swept tans and beiges of a familiar sight. For while we have the galaxy to play with, all roads lead to Tatooine. as the camera swoops down over the vast city of Mos Espa. Around us, aliens abound, vehicles, droids, people of all manner. Colors awash amidst the brown of the landscape. We trail through busy streets, amidst hawkers, passing the billboard, reading the greatest sports rivalry in all the galaxy. Today, meet one half, Ben Quadraneros, the Surreal Cantina. Announcements flashing, children calling to their mothers, Mommy, Ben Quadraneros, we have to go. As the camera swoops past this living billboard, we trail over the streets, catching sight of one lone figure. From a world far from this one, a cold place covered in snow, the planet Hoth, far unlike this one, as we come to rest on the first of our adventurers. Grace, can you describe what we see?
Yeah, you see like roughly a 6 foot tall human woman, blonde hair, maybe perhaps a little overdressed for Tatooine, but on Hoth that'd be underdressed, maybe trying to meet in the middle. Definitely probably, if you get a glance at the underneath sort of the sort of cloak, definitely a lightsaber on the waist. Probably hood up, entering towards the cantina.
And what is your name, Grace?
So Malzoe Mayfig, but most people would call me Zoe.
And so as the camera swoops over the sight of this young blonde-haired individual, lightsaber concealed along with their face beneath their robes, you walk through the streets of this unfamiliar place and you see it standing before you, the cantina that drew you here from your faraway, cold homeworld of Hoth, the Surreal Cantina. Outside, a crowd is arrayed, looking for autographs from the aged and heroic pod racer, Ben Quadraneros. Children overwhelmed and abounding.
Does Ben Quadraneros know how to write his name or read at all? Ben!
As Zoe, you approach the doors to the cantina, opening it and stepping within, you are overwhelmed by the sights and sounds of this place. Music washing over you, strange odors lingering with smoke in the air, the scent of ale and unwashed aliens in this hive of scum and villainy. You cannot help but be slightly overcome, as this is a far different environment from those you are accustomed to. May I ask, what might you do on first arriving at this cantina?
Scoping it out, but I feel like the best thing to do is to go get a drink,
Of course.
Yeah.
And
So would approach the bar.
Is Max Rebo alive at this point, canonically speaking?
Indeed he is. As we follow the camera of this young person approaching the bar. Also, I should have done this already. I apologize. Can I get like a pronoun check on everybody?
Yeah, she, her, and I use she, her for myself as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Just tell me when I get to you guys. I think that the camera, like lifting up, focuses in on a booth in the back of the bar where we note two individuals who have been situated here, catching sight of this new young human woman as she enters the place. We note two individuals. Fitzy, why don't you tell us what we see sitting in this booth in the back?
You see a bald-headed, squid appendage-faced Quarren gently stroking his tentacles, viewing the new stranger who has come through the door. He is wearing a brown leather jacket with a fur liner around the neck. And under the table, you can see that he's wearing some sort of kilt or dress on the lower part of his body and a blaster at his side.
Excellent. And your name, Fitzy?
Feck, or Synthafek, but Feck for short.
Synthafek. I'm so glad you said that out loud because I've been reading it for a few days. Like, whoa. Sitting next to you A second individual, Mike, would you describe yourself?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's necessarily sitting. He has attempted to sit, but let's say his knees are not what they used to be. So I would say more so bent at like a roughly 30-degree angle, sitting next to Feck. We see semi-resplendent, a rose gold colored droid, a protocol droid who looks a little worse for wear. The sheen has very much lost its luster, but its attitude certainly has not. What you can notice if you stare very closely, actually, is that the faceplate of this droid has seems to not adhere completely to the surface. Maybe it has fallen off once or twice, but Feck, being ever resourceful, has been able to affix it to the faceplate, to the proper wiring, using a nice red cloth tied across his forehead. Now, initially, this droid was known as B0E. However, when Feck came across him, he was astounded by B0E's sense of knowledge, memory, history, etc. And so he has affectionately given him the name Rambo.
That is RAM-B0E.
Oh my
Name is
god.
Rambo.
A 3PO protocol unit designated Rambo.
Got it. Mhm. Yes.
So, and what you would say is, obviously, given that this is a 3PO unit, it does not look like your typical unit. It does still engage with the literal wide-eyed wonder that it usually does, but you get a sense as to Feck possibly doing a bit of tinkering with Rambo here to perhaps not make him your typical protocol droid.
Excellent. And
Incredible.
so as the pair of you are sitting here, is there a conversation happening as the camera like kind of swoops in on this booth that Rambo is like propped awkwardly into next effect?
So, Bo, keep an eye out for our friend we're supposed to be meeting here. We should
Absolutely, Master. Yes. Might I just briefly mention that I do appreciate the fact that you prop me up in your booth, much like your compatriots. I rather have a tough time articulating myself. Would it be better if I stood?
If it'll help you grease your own joints to stand, make yourself happy.
Goodness, I haven't greased my joints in years. And so he will very much like creakily stand himself upright and scooch over a couple of inches to where the booth lets out, in which he will sort of like begin to very systematically swivel his hips in a slow, almost sprinkler-like scan of the cantina, to try to assess where and who everybody is.
And I think following the gaze of our droid as it passes back over you, Zoe, while you sidle up at the bar, I think that the bartender steps forward, this Twi'lek with this yellow skin and these long kind of trails hanging down over their shoulders, is just like, hey there, honey, what do you need?
Yeah, I'll get a drink.
Right, yeah, drinks. That's what kind of drink? What are you drinking?
Whatever you got.
Whatever we got. What are you freaking off-worlders? I think that she like turns, kind of filling up a mug hastily as she's like reaching back around to put it next to you. The camera kind of like passing over you. We see the door to the cantina open, the crowd to get the signing from Ben Quadraneros massed outside. And as the camera moves out through the door near this crowd, we pause on our last figure, a tall silhouette in the bright skyline of Tatooine. Josh, what do we see standing
Sure.
tentatively outside the door?
You are seeing a figure that is casting, as you say, a very large shadow, about 7.5 feet tall. This man who walks through the door, and perhaps even in this wretched scum, hive of scum and villainy, you would smell the man who's just walked in before you even see him, akin to wet dog as he walks through the door. A giant gathering of, I would say, bluish fur, covered head to toe, almost Cookie Monster blue. I would say, as he walks in, takes one look around at this at the cantina, and then breathes very heavily as he says, "Brah!" And then he turns around and walks outside and presses his back against the wall of the cantina and goes, "Brah!" Which is him saying, "I can't go in there. There's so many people." And this is the Wookiee Lubaka, aka Louie.
Louis. Lubaka. Lubaka, as you press yourself up against the sandstone exterior.
Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I can't go in there. Do you see how many people are inside there?
You see approaching the door of the cantina, there's a Mon Calamare fellow in very kind of fine silken clothes. You notice the chrome of rings on their fingers. And I think that they like pause, like as you kind of like roar, you're in distress. They like put their hands up like, all right, buddy. We don't need any problems here. Are you okay?
And I think Louis would like respond with his arms up, "Ah, ah, ah," and he would be saying, "I don't know what you're saying. I don't speak the same language. I'm so nervous right now. I'm not trying to be intimidating, I swear."
And I think he's just like, please, I don't want any trouble. I don't speak Shirawook. I just, and he kind of like sidles around past you and darts in the door. You kind of hear him mumbling like, Wookiees everywhere, by the gods, freaking dangerous things.
And I think Louis just goes, "Brah!" as he puts his hand in his hands. Goes, "You're blowing it, Louis. You're blowing it. Oh, you knew this would happen. Your dad would be so ashamed."
All the best Wookiees have daddy issues.
My God.
I think that with that, we follow the camera trailing back into the cantina now, over the side of this Mon Calamari man. Much like Admiral Akbar, for those who are like, what the heck is that? We see this large red squid face, big bulbous eyes jutting out of the sides of his kind of strange head as he strides in. And I think that in the back of the cantina, Rambo and Feck, you can't help but like immediately notice this fellow as he strides in the door. Feck, your old friend, Pargeeks, from the days on fighting rebels in Moncall, he spots you from across the room. And I think he smiles widely as he starts striding towards the back, pausing for a moment next to you, Zoe, as he like steps in just as like this kind of tankard is like sloshed over across the bar top to you, liquid spilling out of the top. He like calls over like, send me a picture back to my friends over there. And he just kind of nods at you like, hello.
Would I recognize him?
You would, absolutely, as he kind of stops next to you. When you last went to catch your mentor at their shelter, the last time you were there, you found only chaos, their discarded lightsaber, and on a loop playing an advertisement from this man, a moisture evaporator salesman, by all accounts, and the best you'll find on Tatooine. And he kind of like looks at you like,
yeah, I'm staring.
Okay there, friend?
I'm like, I like zoning like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah.
Never seen a Mon Calamari before?
I have so many.
Careful staring like that on Tatooine. You'll get a hand cut off, kid.
Yeah, sorry.
So, Rich, I'm gonna stand up and walk over to them.
Awesome.
And greet my friend.
I will like shuffle behind and try to attempt to like get out in front of Feck, and I will regard the Mon Calamari and I'll say, Heartiest felicitations to you and yours. Might I present the Grand Pilot Feck?
And he like
It's good to see you.
you watch this man calamari like turn, kind of looking at the protocol droid, and then turning to look at you, Feck, like, Synth Feck, you're the last fella I thought I'd find walking in here today. It's a delight, my friend. It's been too long. And I think he he wraps you into a hug, patting your back, and he's like, where the hell did you get your hands on a protocol droid? He says, crack ace like you, I thought you'd be better with an astromech.
He finds himself useful in many more ways than an astromech droid would.
And I think he turns, like, looking at you, Rambo, like, Cleese Pargeeks. Any droid effect here is a friend of mine? Sure.
Ah, yes, friendship. As we say, more delicious than any drink you might partake in. Of course, I cannot drink myself, but certainly sit down, enjoy refreshments. I'm sure there is much to talk about with you and the pilot.
And I'm gonna turn back towards Zoe as we're walking back to the table, and I see what she's drinking. That's just trash. Try the Carillion Ale; it's better. And then walk back towards the table.
Okay. I would order a Carillion Ale, and then once it arrives, start following towards the table to sit like near that table.
Okay. Sure. Meanwhile, Lubaka, outside as you stand next to the door anxiously, Eddie, what are you doing? This crowd is massed around the Ben Quadranero signing table as he's like filling out holographic autographs for everybody.
Right. Yeah. And so I think Lou, who is a big pod racing fan and loves Ben Quadraneros, it can't get enough of it. I can't believe I came here to Tatooine on the same day that Ben Quadranero. Oh my God, he's right over there. I should say hi to him. I'm gonna regret it forever. But it's too soon. He's not gonna like me. I know I smell. I have a nose. I know what I smell like. I need a drink. I need to calm down. I just gotta go in there. I think Louis is gonna push himself off the wall and just like waltz into the cantina, just like straight posture and just like kind of like shuffle on in, and nodding at everybody he can as he goes in big like, how do you do, fellow smugglers energy?
Yeah. It's like your massive form starts like moving into the cantina, kind of people parting around you. You can't help but notice a pair of Trandoshans immediately on the far side of the cantina, mean mugging you from the second you come through the door. Reptilian, one of them a little bit more orange, the other green. Their heads snap towards yours, and one of them bares his teeth from the far side of the cantina.
Yeah, and I think that Louis, looking at that, be cool, Louis, be cool, Louis. He'll raise a paw and like wave it like he's trying to be, welcoming, but it's definitely very menacing looking at him being like, bruh! As he just like kind of like punches his fists out in the air. But what he's really saying is, hi.
Are we seeing this, Rich? Are we seeing this whole awkward? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna stand back up from the table and motion to the Wookiee and look at I'm gonna look at the Trandoshans and do like a, knock it off type move across my throat, and then like look at the Wookiee and go, sit down over there.
I think Louis will look at the whole interaction and be like, I just need to get that drink. Get that drink and get some of that liquid courage and then get out of here as quickly as Wookiee possible.
This happen? Can I have grabbed my and turn around and just accidentally run into?
Oh no!
I love it.
Yeah,
full like
you turn around, you like smash into the Wookiee.
Because I'm like looking at Feck. Because I'm looking. I have my eyes somewhere else. Oh, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Louis is just, but when he's actually, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to run into you.
I didn't mean to run into you. I try like pat dry.
And yeah, I think that the Wookiee is like pawing around. He's like trying to like wave at the bartender to get the bartender's attention. He's going, and it's really like, do you have paper towel?
This isn't helping. I'm so sorry. I'll buy you a drink.
And I do
turn
think
around.
that in
Yeah.
whatever like cheat sheet of is it common is English?
Basic.
Basic.
Yeah,
Basic is
basic.
American English.
Yeah, so I think that Louis had like a little bit of like, okay, here are some basic words that you need to know.
Basic. No, those are all the words. So
Flashback to Louis saying the words from looking up at the card, starboard, as he has a few phrases that he's got, drink being one of them. So he knows drink, and he's very enthusiastically nodding in the direction of a drink.
You got it. And I think that they pour you another Corellian ale as well. While meanwhile, I think that Pargeek's kind of in the back with you and Rambo, or with Feck and Rambo. He just kind of like arm around your shoulder, Feck. He's like, Sin Feck, I can't believe it. You're really the last person I expected to find in here, but I'm really glad to see you. What brings you to Tatooine anyway?
Information, as always, is currency in this day and age, and I understand you have some for me.
You're not kidding. What are you flying these days? Have you got a ship?
I managed to get a ship as I made my exit from Mon Cal the last time I was there, and it's holding up well enough.
Good. How about a crew?
Just myself and the droid.
But
Right.
might I say, I do about the work as 30 Trandoshans, Mr. Feck likes to tell me. So I must say my efficiency might be tip-top, even if my infrastructure is not.
These droids get a little quirky. That sounds great, though. Yes,
Quip, quip.
excellent. Quip.
I would be pulling, like, as we get her, like, pulling Lou to come sit at the closest table to them.
You
To
got
Feck and
You got it. You're able
Ram.
to get a table like they're kind of in a booth, and you're in a table like just off the wall a little bit. So you're right in range. You're in just maybe 15 feet away from where they're sitting, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I think Lou would follow Zoe and would be kind of like thinking to himself like, I don't know who this person is. Just go with it. Just stick, and then never like leave their side. Stick to this one person and just talk to them, and maybe she'll get you some other friends, and that'll be okay. And also be very careful, Louis, with sitting on the chair. So he's gonna sit down on the stool, but it's mostly like doing like relying on his legs. He's like not sitting down that much. He's like holding the bar and like just like basically doing like a squat off the bar to make sure that he doesn't crush the stool. This is not his first rodeo.
And I'm not really paying attention to Lou. I'm like trying to listen in to the conversation.
you got it.
And every once in a while, you just hear, which would just be like, so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Lou. Your name is.
I don't understand. Yeah. And I,
So yeah. It's a nice name. Yes.
Yeah.
And so just like sporadic grunting.
I love it. So as we like watch like the awkward interactions of Zoe and Louie as they're like situating themselves at this table, the camera again like kind of zooming into this booth in the back as we see Pargeeks and Feck and Rambo sitting there, and he's kind of like looking between the droid and the Quarren, and this Mon Cal kind of leans in towards you, Feck, and he's like, we've got ourselves a little bit of a situation. He says, there's a bit of a resistance coming together. An alliance. Anyway, I'm here working as a moisture evaporator salesman. It's a front. I'm really smuggling, but I'm using that as another front to collect information for the rebels.
You
up for a job?
Always getting yourself in over your head. What do you need from me?
Yeah, that's how we like it on Mon Cal, isn't it, friend? Always over our heads. Here's the story. He says, Geonosha's the nearest system that we have here to Tatooine. The Imperials have been massed up there ever since the rise of this empire, once Palpatine seized control. They've been building something big over there, Feck. Real big. They've had cruisers, destroyers, all kinds of ships in orbit since the day that Palpatine rose up. But a little while ago, we started getting a signal from a base over there. Someone on the inside trickling information out to us. It's not one of ours. We don't know who it is, but it's all been good. They've been sending transport codes. They all check. Anyway, I just got word, not hours ago. There's a massive troop deployment happening. 90% of the soldiers at the facilities all across Genosha have left. All of the ships in orbit have left. Something major is happening there.
Interesting opening. Now's the part where you tell me how much.
Well, if you got yourself a ship, I'm sure you're going to need to fit it out. Look, we don't have a lot in terms of resources. It's a real ragtag crew that's coming together here. But we can make it worth your while. I've got a solid 15,000 credits in it. That's got to at least be worth something. But
if I may say, the last job that myself and Mr. Feck did paid a baseline 20,000 credits. It is clear we do not tribble much when it comes to the use of our time and resources.
And he's like, I've only got what I've got, friend. That's the trouble. Look, here's the situation. They've got a mass of Wookiee prisoners at this facility. They've been working on something and they're about to get shipped off-world. According to the word that we're getting from the inside, we got a 36-hour window that they're going to be woefully ill-equipped. I'm talking 10% of their current staff. There's some kind of turnover in the leadership. I don't know details. But the fact is that those Wookiees deserve better, even if they aren't terrifying. He glances over. Like Louis
I follow his gaze over to Louis.
Oh, you needn't to worry about them. From what I can tell, the Wookiee is quite apprehensive about his female human lover. Perhaps a first date of sorts?
Yeah, and I think Louis is looking at the droid. Just, hello.
Heartiest felicitations to you and yours.
Would I have heard that? Would I have heard that?
And I think like internally, Louis is like, he's waving at me. You're doing better than you thought, Louis.
This is absolutely not a date.
Nobody's judging, but right. Okay.
No, I said that to Louis. We're not on a date. But they are talking about Wookiees over there.
And Louis just looks back.
Wookiee? Do you get the
Which in what's the Wookiee?
Shirawook.
Shirawook. In Shirawook, I think Louis is saying, "Don't understand you, but this seems to be going okay."
It seems like the date is going quite well, according to the young blue Wookiee.
Seems to be going great.
Maybe that Wookiee and his date actually might be some help. Look, here's the thing, Feck. He says, this contact on the inside, they said that they've got a cache of Imperial transport codes. They could be worth their weight in gold in these next few months. Moving ships in and out of Imperial-controlled space, it's harder and harder as the years go by.
Listen, geeks, you know I hate the Empire as much as anybody, especially after everything that they did to Mon Cal. This sounds like something that we could do.
He says,
throw in a case of spice wine, and I think you've got yourself a deal.
Mr. Feck quite likes the spice wine. One time, he got too imbibed during one evening and told me all of his deepest darkest secrets.
Can it, Bo?
Understandable. Anyone want snacks?
Yeah. As Louis will wave his hand because he did learn snacks in basic.
Of course he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love snacks.
Rambo will sort of shamble over to the bar to get snacks for the group.
Can we just keep doing this? Like, can we? Is that
Yeah,
a
right?
possibility?
Yeah, this could be the adventure. The actual
Listen,
quest is trying to get Louis to understand.
Since I'm going to turn to the other table with Louis and the lady companion. Since you two seem to be interested in our conversation, why don't you come over here and join us?
Yeah. I would join.
I
Move over.
Louis would like gratefully like push off the bar. I don't know if like there would be like any kind of like indentation in the bar with like how he's been like gripping on for dear life, but
Yeah.
maybe. But the chair is squeaky clean, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're at a booth, right? Everyone's in a booth.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think Louis will do like sort of that awkward thing, like, oh, I'll just stand. And so like he'll just like kind of like shuffle his feet, but like do that thing where like everyone in the booth probably feels like some measure of discomfort with like the one person who's choosing to stand.
Who's 8 feet tall.
Yes. But he's just gonna kind of stand and just like look around, like maybe every once in a while looking towards the Trandoshans and just
I'm gonna look at Zoe and say, "Where are you from, kid?"
Hoth. And I would turn to Pargeeks, his name.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Hoth?
No, can't say I have.
Your advertisements make it there.
Well, my advertisements damn near make it everywhere.
There's a lot of moisture on Hoth, with all the ice.
It's
true.
true. I think
It's
it's
true.
at that point he takes out a damp cloth and is like patting his face down. He's like, why, you looking for moisture evaporators, or do you mean the other advertisements?
I was looking for a moisture evaporator. I was kind of looking for you.
Well, you
Do you-
found me, kid. Let me just ask. You're no friend of the Empire, are you?
No. I don't think they'd be a friend to me either. Do you know Reva?
I can't say I do. Should I?
I don't know. But your ad was in her house, so I don't know. That's what led me here.
At this
Listen,
point,
we're looking for. You two seem like you have quite a little bit of experience that we might find handy, especially with what we're about to do. Would you mind continuing this conversation on my ship, away from prying ears?
I
Sure.
like what you're thinking. Wookiee prisoner routine. Right.
And at this point, Rambo will have shuffled over and said, "House special for the lovely couple and the lovely new business partners." And he'll pull out a platter of roasted porg and just like a whole ass porg, like a rotisserie chicken. And he'll say, "You're quite lucky. The bartender acquired this porg freshly caught just this morning. Freshly roasted over a fire as it screamed its bloody heart out until finally it shed its mortal coil. Bon appetit."
Yeah, I think that Louis would react to that by instantly pawing the porg, hand all the way onto the pork, and just grabbing a hunk of meat and just shoving it in his mouth, and then probably somewhere like 20 seconds into like feasting on the pork, realize, oh, my manners. Oh God, you're doing it again, Louis. And he's gonna look around at everyone and go, "Brr, brr," as anyone else is like going to like tepidly try and like get a piece of pork.
It's okay. I wasn't hungry anyway.
It might look like he's like being like, "Get away from my pork," but in reality, what he's saying is like, "I'm sorry that I just went ham on the pork. Okay, I didn't mean to do that, and I've done it before, and I keep doing it, and I'm sorry about it."
Pork's more like chicken, not ham. But
yeah,
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 too true. as
Well,
you guys are sitting eating, and Feck like offers like, "Hey, let's go back to the ship." I think like Pargy like grabs a porg off the plate, like gnawing at it, like love porg, and he's like, "This would be a good idea. I've got some details that aren't suited for this place."
All right, let's take the rest of this pork to go.
Gladly,
I'm
sir.
gonna stand
And
up.
he'll sort of just like zzz, zzz, and put his hands underneath and just carry the tray outwards with no sort of packaging whatsoever, just
You
carrying
just-
it the very way he brought it to the table throughout the sandy winds of Tatooine.
Of course, as like Louis eating porg and like Zoe, I think that Pargeeks like turns back to you and he's like, "Look, I don't know your friends, not by name at least. Faces, that's a different story, but I'm a contact for people resisting this new galactic empire. I help put people in touch with others. If she was looking for me, well..."
Sounds like we might have more to discuss than I thought.
Yeah.
What do
Can
you
I
say?
say a quick, Rich? In my there's also a name Trilla Saduri, right? Is that
Yes.
right?
Yep.
But that's just like it was just Riva said their name, right?
It was the last person to arrive before they went missing. Like on your security, on the security system in her place, it's you like caught a recording of a ship coming in. The security system went off. Reva got onto comms, and this woman identified herself as Trilla Saduri. And Reva was like, "Oh, it's been so long. Like, I'm so glad to see you." So like she was there right before whatever happened.
Right. I don't have a reason to think that Trilla attacked Reva, or do I?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
It's up to you.
Yeah. Okay.
She arrived.
yeah.
Reva went missing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I would ask
Pargeeks.
about what about the name Trilla?
And I think he just freezes and he stops and his head turns looking back to you like, "Take a walk with us, kid."
Does that name mean anything to me?
I don't know. Does it? You tell me, Fitzy. What does Feck know? Would it mean anything to Feck? Would he have heard that name?
I think probably, yeah. If Geeks has heard it, then Feck has probably heard it as well.
And I think he then turns looking back to you like, "Let's get away from these prying ears."
Yeah.
And
Cool.
Yeah, I think Louis will just follow along, like in that sort of way where like the whole group is like gathering together, and like you're just like kind of on the fringe. Like, what's the name of that guy in the after party? Who is?
I just watched
That's
it.
the whole point that we don't even know.
Walter.
Yeah.
Walt.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like Walt flowering his way along with the rest of the group right now. Just being, okay, well, I guess I'll just go see what they're doing.
And so I think as the group of you are getting to the door, Louis kind of trailing at the back, it is at this point that above the wall right next to you, Louis, a whole like porg just like explodes, kind of like meat and bone everywhere as you turn around and you see one of the Trandoshans like holding a platter, picking up another porg that he's about to heave at you from across the bar, and the second one just like striding right is like right behind you, and as soon as you turn around they like look like they're about to just try to shove you and knock you over. What do you want to do?
Oh my god. Well, yeah, okay, go for it, Mike.
Well, I think I will turn to Feck and I'll say, Mr. Feck, shall I engage?
Engage.
Okay.
That's the other show.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, could Louis catch the porg in midair or like try to like paw at it? Because he's like, no, don't throw that.
I think the porg missed and already hit the wall, but there's another one coming if you want to try to catch it.
Yeah,
sure.
I think so.
Okay.
Like maybe we're playing a game.
Maybe we're playing a game. As you're asking whether or not you should engage, I'm going to see if Louis can catch the porg.
That's my favorite game. Catch the Porg.
Indeed
the
it
Porg.
is. Indeed it is. Oh my gosh, look at all these crazy symbols. Louis, that is a incredible success as the second Porg comes flying and you catch it. But there is, unfortunately, amidst this success, a threat. And so I think that the threat is that like as you catch the Porg and are all excited about this Porg, the second Trandoshan now has like gotten right up on you and is about to belt you in the stomach before you can react. Rambo, what were you trying to do?
So is this happening simultaneously that this Trandoshan's advancing on the Wookiee?
Yes.
So then Rambo will then sort of like lean into the whole confrontation and say, "Heartiest felicitations to you and yours. If you'd be so kind as to step away from my friend." And with one swift motion, his left hand will recede, and out from it will come a short sword, which he will then stick straight into the neck of the Trandoshan.
Oh yeah. I think the Trandoshan lunges forward, trying to like just punch Louis in the stomach as he's smiling at this Porg he just plucked out of the sky. While your like blade comes, I'm gonna make an attack roll for Rambo here. The Trandoshan misses but gains an advantage. The advantage being that the other Trandoshan is now like charged across the room and closed in. And Rambo, you are gonna try to stab this guy. Unbelievable. Oh, I love
Murder in the cantina.
it. Murder
Big
in
guy
the
can
cantina.
a blaster as a free action, right, Rich?
Yes, you basically
Okay, good.
can. Yes, sir. Mike, that is an incredible success with 2 advantages. Ultimately is a crit. You can describe how you just like eviscerate this Trandoshan.
Yeah, so I think on that note, as with that one just like absolutely fluid motion, even though the rest of him moves quite creakily, out comes the sword, in which this has been done 1,000 times since Feck has made the refits, turning poor Rambo into not just a protocol droid. The short sword makes the perfect incision right into the vital artery alongside the neck of the Trandoshan, and slowly yet methodically and smoothly he works his way around like a butcher, slowly but surely carving his way around the neck. The entire time a smile plastered across his face as he says, "It's all right now, quite all right.
Oh my God!
You'll be fine." And the Trandoshan, blood gushing from his neck onto the floor of the cantina, falls to its knees before fully collapsing on the ground.
So we're operating in a world where George Lucas didn't sell Star Wars to Disney.
Definitely not. He sold it to me, Josh.
Yeah.
That was a huge mistake.
Sold it to Bloom.
And Rambo
Basically,
will turn...
if the creators of Knights of the Old Republic had full control of Star Wars and had HK-47 came to life as a Star Wars character, it would be Mike.
And so Rambo turns back to Louis, sort of like looking at the blade and says, I do apologize if any of the Trandoshan blood scuffed up your pristine skin.
So the way all of this played out for Louis is he caught the Porg. He's like, I caught the Porg, and then he's about to get punched in the stomach, and he has this moment where he's like, oh my God, I'm about to get punched in this, and then he sees this droid walk up to the Trandoshan and just
What's the other Trandoshan doing?
Is doing this like one of those like electric steak knives, and then I think when Rambo is done and says what he says to Louis, I think Louis responds to that by going blah, blah, and is going to
pukes Porg all over the decapitated Trandoshan.
Straight on to Rambo.
If I had a credit for every time, I dare say that is an appropriate reaction for the brutality I often commit during very pressing situations.
I want to go home.
Grace,
Get me out of here.
The second Trandoshan was like most of the way across the cantina, and you realize that they have a blaster in their hand. But as Rambo makes like this critical attack, he has an advantage, and I think the advantage plays in the Trandoshan like freezes for a minute, panicked. If you would like to act, you may, Grace.
I would like to be like, we gotta go, and I would force push that Trandoshan back.
Yes. Let me
like into a booth or something. That's what I like to, like into something.
Yes. You got it. Hold on one second here. Ooh, that's a bunch of extra dice. Oh, amazing. As you go.
The dice, I've never seen dice like this. And I love that they're like, I wish people could see it, like search the Star Wars dice, because it's just a mess. And then you're like, that is amazing. And I'm like, sure,
yes.
Sure. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it reminds me of like Arrival, when it's like, we have to decipher the language. What does the, like, the symbol for a punch in a comic book, what does that mean?
How appropriate for me playing Squid Face that we have Arrival dice.
It's pretty funny. It reminds me, Fitzy, of like the language in Star Wars, all these crazy languages we often see on screen. And I feel like some like mad interpreter trying to like make sense of these whacked out dice, you know. It really is kind of nuts, you guys. Like there's ultimately a pooled 6-8 different kinds of dice with symbols on them that I'm trying to decipher. It's quite an ordeal. I will simply hold on a second. That was actually the wrong. I'm gonna roll again. Yeah, that's sick. You with 4 light side points, you're effectively able to like pick this Trandoshan up, Zoe, and do like whatever you want with them. Throw them wherever the heck you want.
Is there a table that's rather busy nearby?
Yes.
So like on that table, so he's like in the middle of that social gathering that's happening.
Yeah, you like turn back and just like shove your hand out, and like whoo, the Trandoshan like vaults up off the air all of a sudden, the blaster like falling away to the side as they like crash into this table of card players. You see like a Rhodian over there, a couple of like Twi'leks, there's a tongue from Toon that has not been Quadraderos. They all just kind of like go wild. They start throwing drinks, the Rhodian screaming, and as like this bar fight breaks out around the back of you, the group of you make your way out the door.
Sorry for the mess.
I think the bartender is just like staring at you wide-eyed as you go.
I'm gonna let Grace have the last word on that one. That was perfect. Yes.
Yep. Letting Grace has the last word is usually wise, in my estimation. And with that, the group of you stride out of the door of the cantina, covered in all manner of bodily fluids as you pass Ben Quadranero's autograph sign.
Yeah, and I think that Louis finally, after having survived a fight, has the nerve to at least wave at Ben Quadranero's. And as he's got like, sort of like puke stain fur around his face, and like pour guts all over his hand,
blood from the
Trandoshan streak on him. He just waves at Ben Quadraneros and he's saying, "Hi, Ben, big fan."
And I think Ben's just like,
I believe he is quite threatened by your appearance, Mr. Wookiee.
Didn't understand any of that, but the tone from Rambo suggests that this went over great.
Excellent. So with that, the group of you make your way through the busy, bustling streets of Mos Espa, traveling around the strange creatures, beasts of burden, aliens, humans, droids, oh my, until you end up at the hangar where Feck has stationed his new ship. What is the name of your ship, Feck?
It's the Ethan Hawke.
Correct. The Ethan Hawke, as the group of you stride into the hangar and you catch sight of a classic, that means ancient starship, very similar in its visuals to that of the Millennium Falcon. Those who once stood as Knights of the Old Republic may recognize this classic vehicle, should I be able to give you a visual interpretation, but it's black and orange and kind of round in that style of the Falcon, and it is not the Ebon Hawk, but it is the Ethan Hawke.
Incredible.
And as you stride into the hangar, I think that Pargeeks is like, wow, you weren't kidding. This one's a relic, pal, but it'll hold up. Good freighter.
She's got it. She's an old ship, but she's got it where it counts.
Bet it could smoke that Millennium Falcon. All right, listen. Trilla Suduri. And I think he like stops as you're all in the hangar, approaching the ship, and just turns looking at you, and he goes, "That's the name of the new Imperial agent that's been put in charge of the facility on Genosha. The very one that I'm talking to my friend here about helping me break into. They've got about 100 Wookiee prisoners locked up."
Okay, a couple of words that that Louis knows. One is break, as in he was instructed to not. So he's tried really hard to follow that. The other is obviously Wookiee, and so when the words Wookiees, Wookiee prisoners comes up, I think Louis is looking agitated, but it's actually like, what is that about Wookiees? What's going on?
Sounds like your problems and our problems are aligned.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know much about this woman, this Solduri, but she was being trained as a Jedi. She's turned to the dark side, and all I know is that she's got a great deal of power. The Emperor has put a lot of trust in her to put her in charge of this place. So I'm not sure what she's got to do with this friend of yours, young one. But
She was the last one to see her.
well, if you're no friend of the Empire, and if your friend Riva was looking for me, then whatever happened with the run-in with Trilla Silduri is not good. Your best bet, I hate to admit it, is where I'm hoping to send my friend Feck here.
Look,
The station on Genosha.
We're gonna take the mission. Do you want to come?
Yeah. If it leads me to finding Riva. And yeah.
How about you, Blue? Want to go free some Wookiees?
And it sounds like an enthusiastic yes. What it actually is, could someone explain to me what's going on with the Wookiees?
It appears our Wookiee friend is quite confused, but safe to say, in for a penny, in for a pound.
Well,
As perhaps
Which I think is not exactly representative of what Lou Baca is actually feeling, but Lou doesn't know any better as to what Rambo is saying.
I would look up to and be like, we're in, right? As I say.
Yeah, and I think Lou, who really appreciates the immediate friendship from Zoe, just like, yeah, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. What
I'm
you're
like nodding.
saying,
So like, yeah.
but it feels like maybe
Yeah.
you're saying like you want to keep hanging out. So that's great.
So-
yes,
It's great.
sparks are flying, and it's not just from me.
This is just great.
There was a version of this where I just imagined like, oh, Grace is the human force user, which means she
I know.
speaks every language. She speaks
Wow.
binary and Keswick and everything else. But this is actually much funnier.
Yeah, it's
great.
I'm gonna tap a button on the side of my blaster that is going to open the gangplank to the ship. Kind of like a car door opener on my blaster, which
I
is pretty
think-
awesome.
Pargeeks like reaches into like his silk robe and he pulls out a credit stick and he's like, "Believe me, friend, I wish I could give you more. I could tell you that the compound is filled with all kinds of Imperial tech. You're not going to be able to fit all those Wookiees on your ship, but well, most of them can fly pretty damn good from what I understand. So you've got an army waiting there for you if you can get
Figure it
them
out when we
loose."
get there, as we always do.
A Wookiee fleet?
Rambo will recede the still blood-covered sword arm and produce his regular hand in order to take the credit stick back.
Perfect.
Some serious modifications you got there, pal.
Ah, yes. Mr. Feck said I'm finally able to prove myself after spending what seemed like ages on the Ethan Hawk. Now, please, come inside. I'll be sure to treat you while within.
I think Zoe is having a slight panic attack, realizing that like she realized she might actually be being chased across the galaxy. So is like now realized that she definitely used the Force in public, and so would like to make like a quick check of the surroundings to make sure that like nobody has followed.
Great call. Let me let me make that check for you as you're gonna scope the place out. Yep. as I am looking things up. Okay, cool.
I'm gonna say out loud, hopefully Nanu hasn't torn out any of the new wiring we just installed.
Oh, I certainly hope not. It took you quite a number of nights to be able to put that in.
And then, so at the top of the ramp, as you look up and start to go up, there's a small figure at the top of the ramp that looks kind of like a monkey. And as you get closer, in fact, it is a monkey. And the monkey comes monkey walking down the ramp and jumps on top of Feck's shoulder as he's going up the ramp.
Look at you, little buddy. He made it all this time. Damn, Feck. Glad to see him.
Nanu has been on quite a few adventures with me. Hopefully, they don't end anytime soon.
I think privately, Louis is really impressed that this outfit is so courteous towards their food that this future meal is free range and is being allowed to live a happy life until it goes the way of the Borg.
The rivalry I was not anticipating.
Louis is just excited about that at a future time. Hopefully, he's going to stick around with this group for the non-dinner.
Zoe, as you scan the place, you don't notice anybody here in the hangar that is particularly like concerning. You feel like you're at a pretty safe spot. Like looking outside, it doesn't seem like there's anybody chasing you or anything like that, right? You're feeling like pretty secure, at least in the immediacy of the moment, right?
Okay.
And so I think Pargeeks is like, look, I wish I could give you more. Truly, whatever you can get out of that place, you can keep for yourself. I'm sure you'll be able to turn it around. I'm happy to help you unload it on the markets here. There's always somebody looking to buy on Tatooine. He says, the Wookiees are being held outside from what I can understand. They're supposed to be getting on a transport out of there in the next 24 hours, so the window is small, Feck. I don't know what else you need from me, but I'll give it to you. Spice wine's on the way.
Just wish us luck, I guess.
And I think he turns and he like looks at you, Zoe, as like a droid, like comes like rolling into the thing. I think it's actually a little trash can droid, like hobbling along, and it's got like the crate in front of it, and he like wheels around, pulling it off, like shoving it into your hands, Louis. This like big crate of spiced wine, and he turns and looks at you, Zoe, and he's like, "May the Force be with you, then."
Yeah.
Godspeed. You know where to find me.
That's what you say, right? That's the catchphrase. That's the typical catchphrase.
Yeah,
that's the
Really in
catchphrase.
touch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like a call and response.
And also with you.
Yeah.
And I think Pargeeks,
It's an iconic moment in The Empire Strikes Back, where he says, "May the Force be with you," and Luke responds by going,
Yeah.
"Uh-huh."
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
He goes,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
You might be learning that Zoe does not have full Jedi training.
Might just be.
Might.
I think Pargeeks like giving you the spiced wine, like handing you like a data stick with the location of the particular facility on Genosha. You would know well, Feck. Genosha is the closest system to Tatooine.
Yeah.
You're right on top of it. Like the charting there will be pretty straightforward for you to fly. Yeah. And so with small Nanu, the monkey, kind of like leaping around as the group of you make your way up onto the ship. I don't know, Feck, if you want to describe the interior for anybody.
Yeah, so it's like a wide gallery layout. You see a large tank in the main sitting room that is filled with this crystal icy blue water. And Feck is going to turn to Louis and say, "If you want to clean yourself up, you can jump in," nodding towards the tank. And then you can see past the main room. There's you can see into the cockpit, and you see 4 seats in the cockpit, and then around the corner are like different compartments that have locks on them and are filled with supplies and stuff like that. Yeah.
Levers, the light, like kind of like humming as the group of you come in. I
think Louis like pawing one of the 4 seats to just like weight test it.
Mhm.
Oh, I do say it was quite soft. The owner before Mr. Feck was used to carting around some of your type plus even heavies across the galaxy. So I believe the seats should be quite accommodating. If they are not, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to service you.
And slowly, Lubaka will lower himself onto one of the chairs.
It holds.
And
Nice.
slowly, seeing that holds, he'll try to recline.
Since he has chosen not to acknowledge the tank, I'm gonna open one of the compartments, grab a cloth, and throw it to Louis. And be like, "Please clean yourself up."
Towel over your
Yeah.
head.
And Louis will take it, not understanding. Like, is it a flag? We'll just kind of like wave it at Feck.
I don't believe he understands the hygienic intention of your point, sir.
It's all
I think
stuff.
Louis is now like tucked in, trying to lean back to, and probably chose one of like the back row seats.
Mhm.
So the leg room is not great.
So listen, what's your name, kid?
Me?
Yeah.
Zoe.
Zoe. Well, as you heard, I'm Feck. This is Bo. Do you know this Wookiee?
No, we just met.
I'm just gonna start laughing. Of course you did.
As everyone's laughing, Louis is like, "Ah!"
All right, I'm gonna power up the ship and let's get out of here.
Let's go.
And with that, the like gangplank closing in the back, like Feck starts like flipping switches, right?
Mhm.
Bo in the kind of seat next to him, a bunch of like lights start flashing, crazy things are happening, and we watch as the ship rises, the camera pulling out away, sweeping over Mos Espa, home to half of the greatest sports rivalry in all the galaxy, Ben Quadraneros, as we watch the Ethan Hawke black and orange, distinct in its styling, rising up, trails pulling away from it while it lurches up out of the city into the blue sky above. And I think that we transition back into the cockpit as the world around us through the glass fades from blue to black, stars dancing in the distance, the group of you leaving the atmosphere of Tatooine on this reckless journey you have signed yourselves up for. Yeah, I don't know if there's like a conversation amongst you all while we're sitting here in the cockpit as you go, but
If I may try, because I think that Rambo is starting to realize a bit of the language barrier going on. So
Mhm.
let's try to thread some needles here. He will approach a reclined Louis and, very creakily emit from his mouth, which then refers to enjoying your seat today, sir.
And then I think Louis will go, "Grrrr," which will be Shiriwook. Shiriwook, is that right?
Sherwook, yeah.
Shiriwook would be Shiriwook for, oh my god, you speak Shiriwook!
Which is also Shiriwook. Why, yes, I'm trained in quite a few number of languages. I do apologize. My last Shiriwook venture was quite some time ago. I had to take some time to access my memory banks in order to find it.
As Louis says, well, that's great. I've been starved for conversation. I feel like I'm getting along with all of you, but I have to be totally honest. I don't really know what we're doing.
In which case, I will then sort of yada yada describe essentially the impetus of what we were briefed on in order
Right.
to do so that
And
now,
that there are Wookiee prisoners and such.
specifically that
Yeah.
yes, we're going to break a Wookiee prison break.
And so I do think that that at that Louis would get like a mixture of like serious but also really stressed out and really anxious, and he'll say, which is Shiri Wook for, do we know if there's a Wookiee there named Lashraka?
Which refers to, I did not receive a dossier or a roster of wiki prisoners. I will ask around. I will promise you that, sir.
All right, thanks. Please do. That's my brother. He was captured by the Empire, and I've been sent out to look for him, and I'm really not doing great.
Oh, I do apologize. My sympathies are with you, of course, as many as there can be for one such as myself. If it is any consolation, you hear like a "Erk" as he puts his hand on Louis' shoulder. I think you are doing a bang-up job thus far. You've only gone but a bit of your own vomit upon yourself.
And then I think he'll say, as he pats Rambo's hand, and he says, well, to be fair, a little bit on you, too.
Oh, yes! As Rambo looks down and sees him ensorcelled in
There it is.
Wookiee vomit.
I think Louis also would then say, by the way, I'm Lou Baca. You can call me Louis if you'd like.
Of course, I do not engage in many informalities, but Louis it shall be. I go by the name B0E, but Mr. Feck refers to me as Rambo. I do not understand the reference, but I understand it to be quite fun.
And he knows the word fun, for sure. So he's like nodding along with
It's the
that.
first word they teach Wookiees.
Yeah, but
yeah.
he's not so sure why he's heard the word fun in connection to the activities that he witnessed a little while ago.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I think Rambo will then sort of like swivel his hips around, maintaining eye contact the entire time, and then begins to walk off to start to buff himself off in a manner of speaking.
Yeah. I think Louis is like, it's great that I'm finally talking to someone. I wish it wasn't the murderer. But Wookiees can't be choosy.
The literal cold-blooded assassin.
I feel like seeing my friend get to talk with, I'm like, give Lou a thumbs up. Like that one, well.
And like he'll try to mirror the thumbs up. He's like, is this what we do?
Mhm.
What we doing?
You do notice Louis has this tiny little bowcaster that's like hanging off of his hip. It's this very
Nice.
small little Wookiee crossbow, and you're like, oh yeah, that looks like really, really nice and useful.
It looks like it would be like a toy that you would have on like a keychain in real life, like on like
Mhm.
there's the rabbit foot, and then there's like the Wookiee crossbow, like similar size.
Yeah, you think to yourself like, oh, I didn't know they made them that small. But those familiar with Kashyyyk would know it's actually a training bowcaster for children,
Aw.
for little Wookiee pups.
Yeah.
So yeah, Zoe Feck, is it Nanu? Is this the name of our monkey?
Yes, Nanu the monkey.
Yeah, I think that Nanu is probably pretty interested with you, Zoe. I don't know. Yeah, I think like the little monkey might be like very curious about your
I'll hang out with Daniel. That's great.
So I'm gonna turn the autopilot on and swivel my chair around to look at everybody else that's in our little group here. So Nanu seems curious of you, and I am too. What's your story?
From Hoth, Riva went missing, so I had to leave and try and find her.
And that display back in the cantina, what was that all about?
Yeah, Riva taught me a few things, and I'll at this point also if you might have noticed it. I don't think she's very good at hiding it, but would show the lightsaber as well. Yeah, I feel like the Empire might not be too happy to know what we were up to on Hoth. So
A freaking Jedi trainee, wonderful.
what do you mean wonderful? It is wonderful.
I mean, great to have you aboard.
Not a fan of Jedi?
Let's say the relationship between the Jedi and the Quarren is complicated.
How?
Well, they didn't do a very good job protecting us when the Empire rose, did they?
No, I guess not.
And I think that with the tension sitting in the room as RAM-BOE is buffing up his armor in the back, you travel. Some hours pass as you're like cutting through space. You know the way well, Feck. It's a pretty easy shot to get to Genosha. I don't know that you've ever been here before, per se. So I think that you have like a short jump into light speed, right? As you get towards the hyperdrive lane, you set the ship as you will. Rambo, not here, but you're accustomed to flying many times solo before, and you fire off the light washing past as the time kind of like passing. You come in that way that we do, just slipping right out of it. Suddenly, the stars reforming all around you. You could see the planet Genosha off like in front of you through the cockpit. And I think that it's like moments after you come out of light speed that sensors start firing in the ship, red lights flashing. Woo, 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 woo. There is a ship on your trail. You think to yourself, by the gods, by the Jedi themselves, they must have bugged the Ethan Hawke while you were on the ground in Tatooine. How could they conceivably, how could anybody be following you? You just fell out of light speed. But I think it's at this point we hear like as like the comms kick on off the dash, and we hear a voice coming through the dash itself.
Okay.
Synthek, how dare you? How dare you? You don't steal ships and droids from the Cobalt Sharks and get away with it, you scum! We're getting our Ethan Hawke back! As you realize that, in fact, the gang who you stole this very ship from before you landed on Tatooine is on your tail, Feck. What would you all like to do?
Listen, Shark Boy, we didn't steal it. We were just borrowing it.
No, that's not right. The Cobalt Sharks we will become the strongest gang in all of Mon Calamari. We will get our ship back. How dare you take our freighter?
I did tell you, Mr. Feck, upon stealing the ship and myself, that the Cobalt Sharks would be quite enraged should you cross into their territory again.
Is that our droid boy? Hey, droid! Hey!
Oh, yes!
My droid now.
Maurice! Bakshmanu!
That's right, it's Maurice Bakshanu! How dare you betray us like this, droid? You work for us!
I do apologize, but you see, I do serve whoever is the captain of the Ethan Hawke, and in that case, the captain is indeed Mr. Feck. And Mr. Feck has made me quite a new, fun setting, I shall say.
Let's show them how we made certain modifications to this baby. And then he like slams his fist down on the shield, the button that activates the shields, and flips the ship upside down to face the ship behind him, and just starts firing.
And with that, Feck proceeds to like hammer the control panel and go to make a Corellian pivot turn. Let me get a roll off for you here.
Oh, I should have recommended to you two to please strap in any sort of restraints that you might have before we went upside down.
I love it. Your extra modifications giving you a bonus dice here. Let us make a roll and see what kind of crazy symbols happen. Oh my God, it's a star and two floaty things and then a Rebel Alliance symbol. This is insane. This is so good. Feck, you have succeeded at your roll, as well as granting yourself double advantage, and a triumph. The triumph symbol is this Rebel Alliance one. It indicates a powerful result, significant enough to like boost the outcome astronomically. So, Fitzy, what thing happens in this moment as you make this ridiculously badass 180-degree turn? What are like the unintended positive consequences?
So nearly wishing to cripple the ship, he actually ends up blasting a hole straight through the cockpit of the ship behind him, and the air sucks out all of everything that was inside the cockpit, goes floating into space.
We watch.
Are we close enough to see like all of like the viscera and stuff?
As Sek like slams the panel, the ship like flips upside down. Lubaka, you have a moment where like the pork stomach is like up inside your nose. You're clinging to the seat.
I'm trying to get out of the seat, but like my legs are so big that like I am like trying really hard to like push myself out quickly, but like now I'm just like kind of like rattling around like I'm in a cage.
I'm flailing around. Meanwhile, Feck, I think you pull the turn so awesomely. The auto cannons like ripping away on your ship as they like zoom past you. You arc over the top, blasting the cockpit out. And I think there is this moment that we watch these Mon Calamari gangers come like just lurching up out of the blasted cockpit. They start like crashing into the windshield of the Ethan Hawke as it like pivots around, and you just watch like their small cruiser just kind of cartwheeling listlessly through space, obliterated in an instant by Feck's quick hands.
Well, I dare say I did enjoy Maurice's company, but certainly not enough to get in the way of our own mission at hand. So good job, Mr. Feck, as per usual.
Crazy old Maurice had it coming.
Some people call me Maurice now. That's all.
Yeah.
Some people call me a Space Cowboy.
Yeah, really. Some people call Fake the gangster of love. With that, I think this ship like obliterated. This is not the chase that I expected, and as such, you come
It wasn't much of a chase.
it wasn't. It truly was not. As fact, you have handily dispatched this ship, like zooming your way down towards the planet Genosha below. Yeah, I don't know if there's like a conversation after the destruction of these gangers, or if you want any kind of a plan. Yeah.
So
I think Lou will look to Rambo. Do you have a bag? Just trash.
Oh, yes, I do. I'll turn to fact. I do believe our Wookiee compatriot is about to purge his intestines once more. And Rambo will sort of like walk over and provide some sort of like, he'll clear out a satchel of just like a bunch of odds and ends, and he'll sort of force it in front and he'll go, "Rah!" And he'll say, "Spew if you must, sir, please. It is my pleasure."
not my bag from Tatooine.
It's too late. He's puking in the bag from Tatooine.
I'm so sorry about your Tatooine bag, Mr. Feck. I know how much you do enjoy it.
Good thing we'll be going back after this.
That'll come out. You can get that out.
Right. So a couple of things that I need to do as we're going with the ship, as we're going down to the surface. I need to get to work on scrambling our flight signature, like our call signature, so that if anybody comes looking for us, they won't quote unquote find our ship in the area. So I need to scramble our signature. So I need to make some kind of roll on that. And then also like basically just do like a full systems check to make sure that like nothing, like we're not find out how they tracked us basically.
You got it. As you're gonna do like a full systems check, do you want to maybe have Bo
Yes.
scramble the systems for you?
Yes.
Okay, rad. So you've got some cool stuff going on here. We're
Bo,
gonna
we need
roll.
you to get to work on the systems. We need to scramble our call signature.
Oh, well, call me an egg, because I will scramble away. And Bo will start to, like, with almost literal superhuman speed, begin to, just like clockwork, fiddle and knob and do whatever he needs to do.
Run a full upgrade on the systems while you're at it.
Ah, yes, okay. Well, you're certainly throwing off my routine, but I can't say I'm a bit excited about it.
Look, it's either you or the monkey. Which do you prefer?
Oh, please do not let that simian near this control panel. Thank you very much.
Okay. So,
I don't like that tone.
No, nor should you. Feck, I'm gonna give you your role here,
Fantastic.
though. Okay, Feck, as you're going over the systems, system's good. You have no damage. The shields are all like in good shape. You're kind of like going through the whole like diagnostics. Everything looks great as you, Bo, proceed to like go in and start signal scrambling. This is not a task typically given to a protocol droid. It is outside of your previous area of expertise, but after the reprogramming with your good new associate here, you have gained new skills. Unfortunately, however, in this moment, as you are trying to scramble the skills, you realize, oh dear, I have in fact just sent a beacon from our ship echoing out across all of like the comm systems.
Oh no!
and I think that there is, however, amidst this, Bo, it is disastrous. It is a failure with major threat as a result. But somewhere amidst this is a triumph. There is some unexpected positive to be found. And I think that the triumph that you unearth here, Bo, is that you immediately like isolate the station and you know like exactly where it is. You're able to bring it up on like the display panel in the cockpit and you could see the outside of what looks like this fortress set into like the rocky Genoshan kind of mountain, and there are all of these exterior pens with the Wookiees trapped in them. As you're like scanning it, you've got like a visual display of the outside of the facility that you guys need to break into. Unfortunately, as you ping their radars, your comms activate again. Like, this is Imperial Station 6734. Please identify yourselves.
I'm just gonna turn and look at Bo. What did you do?
I do believe I made an oopsie, Mr. Feck.
And see, you broadcast our signal to the entire planet.
Well, they do say that making an entrance is often the best way to improve your reputation. If this were a networking exercise, I would be clapped upon the metallic back. But yes, I do suppose right now your anger is very much deserved.
This is Imperial Station 6374. Identify yourselves.
Tell them something. Make up something.
We are.
Does anyone know Charm Person?
No druids here.
We
I will
Yeah.
use something here.
Go for it.
Now having knowledge of the area and probably a bit of a knowledge as to, Genosha in general, Bo will use valuable facts. Once per scene, make an average knowledge check to garner an advantage for an ally skill check during the same encounter.
Okay, so you're going to use valuable facts. I'm going to make a roll for you. You just have to make an average check here. You've actually got a pretty good roll on this with 2 in that. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of that.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Just
Yes, please.
Is it after a roll or before a roll that you could use destiny points?
Oh, before you can say I want to use destiny points.
Let me just keep that in mind, team. We'll make
Yeah.
You got it.
You guys do still have
so-
3 light side points. I'm trying not to use
Alright.
them till you do.
Yeah.
This is a wild, wild roll, you guys, as it is a huge failure with with an incredible amount of advantage to be gained secondarily. So this is like one of these thought exercises of like, okay, you are unable to assist anybody with this right now, but what do you learn, Mike, in this like key accessing of your databases that will be useful for you? Except not right now.
So not in this moment. So what do I learn? I think I would be able to glean the sort of like security setup of the pens as to like any surveillance that is being taken, if there were any like posted guards that I would see, just like the general setup of the place outside of just what the external part we saw with the pens and everything.
Absolutely. You've got it. You know that there are motion sensors attached to like alarms in the outside facility that would have to be disabled as you move around outside. The guards are like woefully ill equipped. I think that you get access to like the personnel information in the system inadvertently.
Oh yeah, they visited HR a few times. There's been some really wild
For
crap
sure.
that's happened at this prison.
There are no more than 40 people stationed here at this site, under the command of somebody that is designated second sister, who you note has like the official designator as a inquisitor of the empire.
Oh boy, that's fun. Good thing we have no Jedi on board.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean,
Right.
actually, technically, we don't.
Josh's face right now is giving me life. He has really stepped into the body of Louis. He's
Well, because everybody is freaking out, and Louis is like, "Is this bad? Should I
Are you
should I
saying
have
any
not
of this
gotten
out-
on
are
the
you, like,
ship?"
Are you saying any of this out loud?
Yeah,
or is it
he's
just-
roaring all of this out loud in Shiriwook. Yeah, like, are we in trouble?
So I've got an idea. Hang tight. I've got an idea, and I'm gonna answer the comm. This is the sales freighter Buscemi. My name is
Steve?
what's my freaking guy's name? What's the friend guy that I met at the beginning, Rich? I'm sorry.
Pargeeks?
Yeah.
Keely's Pargeeks.
Yeah. This is Car Geeks. And I'm just sort of like spitballing here, trying to like come up with the exact thing to say.
You got it.
I'm a moisture salesman. I'm here to film a commercial with my crew.
Commercial.
Looking for permission to land.
Oh my God, I love you,
I'm gonna need a
Brendan.
major bluff roll. Yeah.
I love you, Brendan. I I am here to film a commercial with my crew.
Looking for-
Hold on.
Is it an advertisement for Ben Quadraneros?
No, we
Better call Quadranero.
We tried to get him in the like
Better
Yeah,
Quadranero.
better Quadraneros.
to be endorsing the product, but
Yeah, exactly.
Amazingly.
So we're
fast.
here to film a commercial about selling moisture evaporators.
As you start like responding, like I'm Parky, here to film a commercial about moisture evaporators. You hear like, please hold. We're a little short staffed at the moment. I'm just gonna, if you could just give me a minute, I'm just gonna go check the records. You're clear to land. We'll have somebody meet you out in the front yard.
I start repeating the lines from the moisture vapor ad so that everybody like knows what we might be trying to
Yes.
It's
Beautiful.
me, Keely's Park
Yeah.
Geeks, best moisture evaporator salesman in all of Tatooine.
Yeah.
That was almost too easy.
The rolls are wild. With that, what do you guys want to do as you're closing in? It appears that they are not that like somehow Feck has like talked his way into this.
All right, so we're gonna need some large packs from the supply room so that we can hide our weapons. And let's see what I can find that looks like studio equipment.
Absolutely,
So I'm just
sir.
gonna go like
Amazing.
ransacking through my stuff, trying to find anything that we could use to disguise ourselves as whatever they would call galactic advertisement
Yep.
filming people.
Wow.
Intergalactic commercial crew. So
Yeah, exactly.
I grievously overlooked this point, General Grievous.
Okay.
even.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
At any point, you can burn a destiny point to induce the fiction, to have a thing that you need to kind of like, oh yeah, good thing we brought these gas masks.
Okay, yeah, I'm doing that then.
Yeah, I
That's-
think
that's
safe
it
to
for
say
this.
I think it's understandable. I think we can all
Yeah.
agree that we are
Yeah, let
absolutely
me,
spending it. It's worth a destiny point to be able to make this fiction that we are now a
Just like
commercial
all
crew.
smuggling supply, like, just
Yeah,
like it
wait,
happens
so-
to be
Exactly.
from like a film crew.
We have like a film rig. Like
As you're
we've
going
got, like,
through Maurice's
we've got
stuff,
like cameras and boom mics and
You
steady
realize-
cams
Absolutely.
mhm,
Good thing
and
I
like
brought.
and
good
like
thing I-
lav mics and stuff. Like,
Good thing I brought my travel USB mic.
wait, please tell me that somebody is miking Louis up right now.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I
for
got
sure.
you. I got you.
So he's like setting the mic in the blue fur, you know what I mean?
And
Like,
we're spending a destiny
This is-
point on film equipment.
We're actually
Yes.
are we we're recreating the normal ad, but this is specifically being tailored to Wookiees.
Exactly.
Wookiee
The
version.
infomercial.
What we're
Well,
doing is I think we're
Wookiees
gonna
need
do sort of
moisture, too.
a sort of like one of those like for the cost of a cup of coffee a day, but in front
can
of
help
the Wookiees,
moisturize
to,
a
like,
Wookiee.
look at them. Look at them.
Incredible.
for the mere cost of one porg a day.
Are you an angel?
Oh my God.
It's me, Ben Quadraneros. You're just looking for donations. Amazingly, it turns out that Maurice was quietly a film auteur, and in the back quarters, you find the boom mics and the steady cams, all manner of film equipment.
Wait, and I think it's Louis looking back there and seeing like some of like the posters and some of like the DVDs or whatever the Star Wars equivalent is. Like,
Yeah.
this shit was Maurice Rivers,
Sure was.
auteur
yes.
filmmaker.
Yes, Maurice did have a career as quite the filmmaker on the small scene. In fact, he was touring quite a number of festivals before Mr. Feck stumbled upon the Ethan Hawke.
They called him the Godfather of Moncal.
I've been saving up all of my credits to go to Coruscant Con to meet Maurice before my dad sent me to go find my brother. I can't believe this.
I do have bad news for you. You may never meet him, as he was indeed left on space when we shot out his shuttlecraft.
At which point, I think
I look
Lubaka
for
then
look for-
returns to the Tatooine bag, and
Yeah, I was looking for a bag.
yeah, I think Lubaka's like, "Brrr," which is Sherrywood for bag.
If we could just spend another full destiny point on bags.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Keep more
Bags.
bags, no problem.
Yeah, it's all swag from various film sets that Maurice has been on.
Exactly.
Bag.
No goodie bag.
Brilliant.
It's the Ben Quadraneros prize pack.
Oh my
So
God.
as you guys have assembled this unexpected treasure trove of resources, of filmmaking resources in the back of your ship, what's your plan here, Feck? Where you want to land? Are you gonna just like come in close?
Yeah, so we're gonna land close because he said they were gonna send somebody to meet us out front. So we're gonna land like close, but not like too close because we don't want them to like think that we're trying to land on the building or anything. So we want to be able to walk a good distance up to the door. And we also
got
need
it.
to like sell the like lugging all this equipment stuff. So
You got it. As the
we need
Ethan
to look
Hawke
like a
kind
bunch
of
of bumbling filmmakers. So
Yep, the Ethan Hawke kind of like approaching this facility. You see like all manner of these like big auto turrets, anti-aircraft weapons. There is a whole kind of like fleet of vehicles. You see like STST walkers, they're the little two-legged guys. There are a bunch of like Imperial cruisers, not many like fighters or anything like that, and no giant like destroyers or anything parked on the ground here. But there's all these kind of Imperial Star Cruisers, a bunch of like walkers, minimal guards that you see around this place, like mounted up on the watchtower. You see like one person on each of like the 2 main watchtowers on the kind of front wall. And as the ship like lands, you can see a small group like making their way out from the facility, wearing like the very distinctive white kind of glistening synthetic stormtrooper armor. I think one of them has like a band on one arm as like he's coming the kind of like captain of this small crew of what looks like 5 soldiers making their way out to the ship. As the group of you start coming off the back, like lugging all of this equipment, the like lead one with the band on his arm approaches like, yeah, so commercial, we don't really know anything about that. We've had some turnover and we're trying to like figure out what's in the records, but
look, your previous commissioned supply officer set all this up. I don't know if they're still here or not. Name was Captain Chance.
Captain Chance, did you know Captain Chance? And they're all like, well, we use numbers. What's it? Maybe CH345. What are the rest of you guys doing as this is all happening? Are you just letting like Feck do the talking?
Pretending to read my lines. Just like read it and then saying them, and then yeah.
Bo is just endlessly wrapping a cord, just like endlessly around his arm,
trying to do the perfect loop. Yeah, I love it.
I think that Lou is just holding a boom mic over like the entire conversation. And because he knows a bit about film, having been a fan of where he's like, he knows like keep like positioning the boom mic like as the, like to pick up the conversational flow.
We were cleared to film in the commissary. We should be out of your hair in under an hour.
Wait a minute! You brought a Wookiee here? You shouldn't have. This might not be. Hold on.
Do you know who this Wookiee is? This Wookiee is the best salesman in the galaxy. If he can't go in,
we this is a real ground root organization. We all wear many hats here.
Wait, is he the salesman or the gaffer? I don't understand what's going on here.
Look, it's a small crew. We all do a lot.
I'm the key grip.
It's at this point that
if he can't go in, we don't go in, and then we want our money back.
At this point, one of the soldiers is like, "Sir, I don't."
Look, I paid 50,000 credits to Chance for this. If you don't let us in, then give us our freaking money back.
And I think that one of the soldiers is like, "Sir, I don't want to commit any kind of insubordination here or anything, but they're definitely full of it. I think they're tooling you around." And I think that the captain looks back at you like, you know what? The lot of you can come inside and wait till the commander gets back here. You could take it up with her. Commissary? Sure. Let's go.
Okay.
All right.
So we will, I guess,
so I just sort of relax my stance and start following them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll process in.
So they lead you into the gates of the compound open. As you're walking through, you're seeing a bunch of these vehicles inside like the walled off compound itself. And then there are these big pens. The fences like kind of like enormous with these tops over them. They're all like this kind of, not like wire or cage, but like heavy bars. And masses of Wookiees, like at least 100 of them out here in like 2 separate kind of like enclosures separated from one another. And I think they're eyeing Louis nervously as they're like leading you through this place for like a read on how all of this reacts. But they walk you through this long open courtyard. It's like a couple 100 feet through like the front up to the compound itself. They key something in, the blast door opens. You see like the interior, the white kind of sterilized hallways bathed in the incandescent light as the stormtroopers lead you in. You guys all gonna head in?
Yeah.
Okay. You all like head in and like blast doors close behind you as you head into this facility, and they lead you down a winding, twisting kind of maze of corridors, left and right and left, till they step up to a room, pushing the keypad, the blast doors open, and you see a large room, benches, tables. It's actually pretty massive sort of cafeteria area, and they're like, you can wait right here. We'll have the commander come get you as soon as she returns.
Fantastic. We will just start setting up.
He's just been
Okay.
boom micing.
Do
the
they
entire
leave us
time.
alone in the room? Like, are we alone, or did they leave somebody?
So yeah, I think that like the commander kind of like nudges one of the guys and is like, stay here, just keep an eye on them. Come on, the rest of you, we've got work to do. And the other four leave. There's just kind of like one guy inside the door as the blast doors close, sort of leaning up against the wall, watching you. In his
So I'm gonna walk up to the guy that they left, and I'm gonna say, "Look, I'm sorry for all the trouble. I know that your commander's gonna clear all this up. Just one quick thing," and I like look back, curl my hand into a fist, and then I deck him right in the face.
Shall I engage, sir?
I think I've got this one. Thanks. Basically trying to knock him out. Yeah.
Feck, you throw your punch. It hits. You are going to effectively deal what's his soak? Hang on. You have a 2 brawn. He has 1 soak. You deal 1 point of like damage to him. Unfortunately, you trigger very terrible consequences, as there are in fact 2 threat dice have dumped out here. I think as you belt him, his head like cracks back into the wall, the stormtrooper helmet slamming, and he's like snaps his head back around and just like slams the wall next to you, at which point like boo, alarms start like firing, red light like flashing in the room, and he's reaching for a blaster. What do the rest of you want to do?
I think that Louis would like swivel around really fast and like not even intentionally, but I will note that I have in my inventory, Rich, a heavy staff for walloping people.
Yeah,
and if I may take some creative license,
please,
I would like to believe that the boom mic is that heavy staff for walloping people. So I think that Louis would like spin around real quick in the direction of the sirens and would be boom miking any of the stormtroopers in his imminent path.
Absolutely, you would. Let me take a roll here. You got a bunch of those dice and a bunch of these dice. You do extra damage when you hit people with things.
Wow, that's a lot of exploding things.
First of all, that's a crit. Would you like to crit?
Boombaka.
Oh,
if you
gosh.
want, you can crit him. This is a you option. And then you have also garnered.
Do I spend anything by critting?
Nope. You can just decide to crit, which will do a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. You get a crit.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's roll percentile die. So the crit with 25 plus you as a Wookiee, you have a bunch of bonuses when you crit people. That's going to bring it up to a 35. The target is, first of all, let me figure out what the damage is. 1, 2, 3, 4, plus an additional 4. Yeah, you just smashed the helmet into like smithereens. His head like snapping back into the wall. The helmet like shatters around him. His skull like cracks into the wall. Do you want to kill him?
Not on purpose.
Okay, then he's knocked unconscious. He's not dead, but you have also garnered an incredible amount of advantages. What unforeseen positive outcome might there be from this?
Oh my gosh.
I have an idea.
I would imagine that seeing Louis take out one of their own so efficiently that the rest of the stormtroopers would like drop their guns, be like, whatever you want.
I think that so the other stormtroopers have left the room, but as you knock this guy out and he falls, his body like smashes into like the alarm that he kind of like set off, and it goes off for a minute. Now the alarm has been triggered, but it's no longer like screaming and raging as this guy like falls to the ground, drool rolling out of the side of his mouth, totally knocked out, Louis.
Is there a comm box on the wall near the alarm as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What were you going to say, Mike? Were you going to say something?
Well, I do not think that Bo necessarily likes loose ends. And so if Louis doesn't want to kill him,
Oh no!
It's starting to feel like Bloom doesn't like loose
Yeah.
ends.
Yeah, I know.
This
Bloom
feels
ends.
like a recurring theme across some of your characters, Michael.
and so Bo's right hand will recede, and up from it.
No, don't do it, don't do it. I think
Well-
Louis is saying in Shuri please, no more.
I'm gonna agree.
Please don't.
I'm gonna
Yada
agree.
yada. Don't describe it in vivid detail, at least.
I'm gonna agree. Don't do it. My guy would tell him not to do it this time.
Okay, sir, of course, as you say.
And I'm gonna go over to the.
You will wait to see what's in the right hand another day, because that was the left hand. The left
Oh,
hand was
God.
nice. The right hand is something else.
I don't want to
Ooh.
know.
It is.
So
It
I'm
is.
gonna go over to the comm panel and sorry, we had a slight alarm malfunction. I was trying to dim the lights and accidentally hit the alarm, but everything's fine here now. How are you?
That sounds vaguely familiar, sir. Good one.
Zoe, what are you doing amidst all this? I'm going to make this roll
Look-
for you in a second here, Fitzy.
Looking for, is there other exits or entrances to this where are we, the commissary?
Mm-hmm.
Is just one door, or there are other
Mhm.
doors?
There are multiple doors out, actually. There are like 2 doors, but they're both on the same wall, right? You're in like a long kind of rectangular room, but both doors are on one wall. You get the impression they're gonna like dump you into the same hallway.
Actually, the door that they all went out, are we near the door that they all went out of?
Yes.
The other, I want to look for something to like lock that door, or like find something to like jam in the door to like prevent it from being opened.
You got it, Zoe. As you start like scanning around real quick, I'm gonna have you make one of these kind of rolls. Okay, great. Let me do this. Meanwhile, Feck,
Mhm.
Zoe, you don't find anything to jam the door. You find something else. Think about what it is for a second. Something useful. Feck, as you do the everything's fine here now, and they're like, you just hear back on the comms. Good. The commander's on her way. Don't let them go anywhere.
Can I have found like an access key card?
Yes, you do. Underneath one of the like lunch trays on the garbage like bin there, you see an access card that one of these dumb clone troopers left sticking out of the side. Yeah. Yep.
Wonderful.
I think Louis would be like trying to like shake the stormtrooper. Are you okay?
Is there a computer in here as well, like a tech panel, or not? Because it's the commissary, so there's not really.
There's not, because it's
Okay.
the commissary, right? It's
Great.
very like high school cafeteria, I imagine,
right,
with stormtrooper lunchrooms, you know?
Yeah.
And the blast doors are for, there's only one entrance in and out.
Yeah, so there's 2,
Oh,
right?
okay,
Like
yeah.
if you're looking on this wall, there's a door over here and a door on the other side, right?
Okay.
No
but they lead in the
windows,
same
no
hall.
windows or anything.
Nope. There's air shafts and stuff, right? You're like seeing like vent passages and stuff leading in other
Ooh.
places.
I
But
don't know
I
if our Wookiee's getting through an air shaft.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, how big are the vents?
They're like pretty large. You think Louis could like do it if he had to do it? He could drag himself through there. Yeah.
Louis is picking up on the body language of everybody, looking at the vents, and he's looking at them all with like pleading eyes. No. No.
Might be our
No.
only way out of here.
Oh no.
I think we got to do it. I think we got to do it. I think we got to.
I'm not good with tight spaces, he says, as it sounds like. "Blah!"
It's at this point that the blast doors open. Not the ones that the stormtrooper
Got
came
it.
from, but the ones on the other side of the room. And you hear like, as rolling into the room is a black and silver astromech droid, Imperial make, with the kind of classic Imperial markings on it, and it like turns the one like blinking eye looking at you, and it's just like it starts like moving all around and kind of shaking. And I think that you, Rambo,
Yeah, so I think at this point, Rambo is going to look at Feck and be like, with all apologies, sir, I think I shall take care of this one by myself. Shows that right hand.
you do,
And-
as the right hand is like about to emerge, realize that this astromech droid is like, help me, Rebel Alliance. You're my only hope. I have the transport codes. The Inquisitors are coming. You need to get me out of here before they dismantle me.
Oh my goodness, I do apologize. I thought he was an enemy. He's our friend. Oh,
No.
please. Yes, please come.
I'm the man on
come.
the inside.
I can't believe you were about to show R2 the right hand.
And so I will gesticulate with the right hand over to all of us for the astromech to come in.
Yeah, the astromech's like, and it's just like beeping frantically and whirring,
Right.
like very agitated. Like they're on their way. They're right behind me. They're coming now.
Lock the doors and show us the way out of here.
I
The
just went
doors
through a
are
door.
the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to like. Oh, I feel like we should get into position.
All right.
And fight. Yeah.
Damn it. All right, I'm gonna throw down the gear I was holding and pull out my blaster from the bag that was on my back.
I'd
The
like to
real-
find like some spot near where they wouldn't like see me. That's my like a little bit of a
Nice.
hiding spot. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So if we're positioning ourselves, Rambo would
Well,
be.
yeah.
What? Go ahead.
I would also say hide the droid in the vent.
Ah, yes, but okay. I apologize for our uncouth aspect. We're going to need you to conceal yourself within the vent until the coast is proverbially clear for us to be able to escort you outside of the premises.
No problem. He's like starts rolling to the vent, the little like arm like it's taking like screws out of the panel. Zoe, you excellently conceal yourself. You actually see that there's a ledge up above the door that you can like tuck yourself into
Oh.
if you want to like get
Yeah.
up high. You like pull yourself up over the door like a perch. You Feck are able to like fall back behind one of the tables as you're directing the droid into the vent. Louis, Rambo, anything in particular here?
Rambo's going to position himself directly on the wall, right next to the entryway.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that Louis is like crippled with fear and doesn't know what to do because no one is taking the time to really explain the situation of like there are people coming.
Yeah.
It's just been a lot of loud noises, and I've just knocked a person unconscious.
I'm gonna,
I think that Louis is still just sort of like swiveling around, probably pretty close to the door with boom mic still in hand.
I'm gonna turn to the Wookiee, stand in front of the vent so they don't see the droid, and like motion for him to
Doesn't he-
go over there.
He has no idea.
He's
Okay.
just
I
looking
I
at
think
you.
He is
my
still just sort of standing there right in the middle.
Up on the as like if you give me that like so it would
Yeah.
like sort of like jump walk off the wall to like get up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and then be up there,
awesome.
and then like for the first time you see like pull the lightsaber out and like
Nice.
activate it, and it is a blue lightsaber waiting for
Yes.
the enemies to come into the room.
And with that, the blast doors on both sides of the room open. The uniform stomping of what sounds like at least a dozen armored feet as, like a half dozen stormtroopers come through each one of the doors. The commander with the group at the far side, but on the left, another figure clad in black, reflective like onyx, a cape trailing behind them, hanging at their hip, very similarly to what Zoe holds, the hilt of what only be a lightsaber. Their face is obscured by a black mask with an almost mirror polish on the front of it, raising up in the back. And I think that you hear this feminine voice, slightly modulated from under the mask. What's going on here? Who are you people? There's no film crew. There's no commercials being filmed here.
Yeah, so to be clear right now, it's just we're the only two that are showing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
No, I thought you were hidden
guess-
behind a table.
Who let this Wookiee get out? I think that like she turns to the rest and says, get him now. And I think that there's a moment where like this figure reaches up to their helmet, actually, and like just kind of touches it for a moment, and like I sense. Do any of you guys want to do anything? The stormtroopers are starting to move forward towards Louis.
Okay, so
Right.
in that case, how far away, like how much into the room is the commander of the forces?
15 feet or so. She's walked like well past
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Bo is going to sprint to her. Zzz, the right hand recedes. Zzz, up in front of it comes a sort of refitted form of a carbine blaster, and he is going to, right from under the neck, take a shot.
Nice.
As Bo charges forward into the room, let us start rolling things
Roll
here.
Yeah.
for initiative. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that Louis is feeling the strain, strigoi of the
Mhm.
situation, and may indeed be willing to suffer extra strain in order for his attacks to be more frenzied as these stormtroopers are coming up.
You got it. The
What's the opposite of
stormtroopers.
Wookiee rage?
Yeah.
Wookiee sadness.
Wookiee Zen. As the stormtroopers are stomping into the room, Rambo charges from the wall. The blaster, the modified carbine blaster at the end of his right arm, up underneath the chin of this black armored woman. The blaster fires. We hear a shout, stormtroopers yelling. As for the second time since you've entered this room, the helmet is blown completely off of this woman's head, skyrocketing into the air. And I think you, Zoe, clinging to the perch above the door, watch the helmet, your eyes fixed as your eyes drop down, and the face of this woman turns back towards the droid behind her who just shot her, and you see dark skin, braided hair, Reva standing in the middle of the room, and her eyes lock on yours. Well, my apprentice, I was going to come back for you. The red lightsaber in her hand drops next to her. You have gone, Bo. You want to suffer strain to do extra damage. What do you want to try to do, Louis?
Yeah,
the first of the like stormtroopers are jumping at you.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, wait, no, I didn't do it. And he's just like waving his boom mic furiously in the direction of anyone who is coming at him.
Okay, so you're just kind of with the boom mic furiously. Nice. You suffer a little bit of strain. That's 30% of your strain here as you whirl around with the boom mic. I have given you one environmental bonus on that. Oh, that's catastrophic. You've gained 4 incredible successes. That could be a crit. What does it look like, Louis, as you like obliterate 2 of these troopers like racing right up to you? You just stop them.
I think it's almost like he's like sweeping, you know, like and he's just like sweeping things into the dustpan, except the dustpan is the corner of the room where the previous stormtrooper has been collected. And so with the boom mic, he just like pushes them. He doesn't need the force to force push. He boom mics them across the room, and they all just like rag dolls connect with the wall and slide down against the other troopers.
Yeah, these 2 other stormtroopers like in the air smash into the wall, dropping to the ground amidst like Wilhelm screams and muffled groans. That is Louis. That was Bo. Feck and Zoe, what do you 2 want to do?
I guess I'm gonna pop up and take a shot at the first stormtrooper I see with my awesome blaster.
Excellent. As you like heave up from behind the table, Feck, the blaster like comes loose. I'm gonna give you an advantage, Ty, from the chaos of this environment around you. Boom! It fires. That can be a crit. You want a crit?
Yes.
Ooh, nice.
Absolutely.
66. Order 66. Amazing.
Oh, wow.
you blind and deafen this guy as you like blast him, the helmet like spinning sideways around his
God.
head. These Imperials got to get this helmet thing right.
Yeah,
He like
right?
staggers backwards, like turning and tilting wildly, completely disoriented. His senses like shut down. Feck, that was you. Zoe, what do you want to do? Riva is standing amidst these stormtroopers, red lightsaber in her hand, a burn on the side of her face. And she's just smiling at you.
I think when like that happened, like it was in like lit the lightsaber up, like, and then was in defensive stance. And as soon as like it's Riva, like that just totally drops. There's gonna be like, what are you doing here?
I've come to join my sister. I tried to keep you safe on Hoth, but I was foolish. I'm glad that you brought that with you. Shouldn't fall into the wrong hands. The Emperor cannot be stopped. And truth be told, the dark side feels good, my apprentice. Join me. Join us. I don't know who these people are, but we can have everything we want. We can make this galaxy what we want it to be.
Zoe will say, it would stare, like take us all in and just go, I want the galaxy to be free, and then would jump towards Riva. Yeah.
Get it, Grace.
Yeah.
You surge off the wall. You're gonna force jump?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go.
I am opening up now, Zoe.
Rebels.
Yes. As you leap off, yes, you can go anywhere you want in this room. You could jump wherever you want to be, Grace.
Right in front, right in front of Riva.
You like hit the ground, and then what?
Attack with lightsaber.
Attack with lightsaber.
Yeah, there it is. As you like land, like spinning through the air, landing in front of her, the lightsaber comes loose. Your training incomplete.
Mm-hmm.
You strike at your master.
Ooh.
That is one success with a whole bunch of catastrophic threat.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the catastrophic threat is right in front of her.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Rich got me real good.
It's
Rich got me
a
real
freaking
good.
Inquisitor,
did that
man.
go? Did that work?
Yeah,
Was
it
that
was
really
clever
good.
enough? It was
Okay,
just
well,
enough setup, right? to
I
be-
know.
Yeah.
I know.
It was
Yeah.
just enough. I'm so happy, Grace. You slash her. Where do you like cut her with the lightsaber?
The leg.
You
Like the
like
thigh,
slash
yeah.
her leg and she like twists away from you. But unfortunately, as she has garnered these 3 threat, I think like she shoves you, throwing you backwards, and you find yourself like lifted up in the air, thrown back out into the hallway.
Okay.
Boom! Where you hit the ground prone. You're like laying, like sitting against the hall. The lightsaber falls out of your hand next to you. Your legs like stretched out. It's not far, but you are prone down in the hall. She now like screams, "Kill them!" And stormtroopers begin blasting all of you guys.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How many destiny points do we have?
Yeah, I was gonna
Two
say.
destiny
points.
I want to talk through some stuff here because I think they all have things.
Okay, let's talk.
With the 2 destiny points we have, I can end this.
Okay,
With
that's
the 2 destiny points we have, I can end this. Rich, am I correct?
You can. Pretty
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
The
Man.
minions. Just to be clear, you can deal with everybody in the room pretty much except Riva.
Except for a boss.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's interesting because I could not necessarily deal with Riva, but I could certainly help things with Riva a good amount. So I guess it depends on like we got to pick our poison here.
With
A lot of
destiny
dice can
points, you
fly
could.
around. Yep.
Or is that what you're saying, Mike? Or you're
Yeah.
just saying...
With my 2 destiny points, I could do something that could. I mean, do we want to be? I could be explicit if you want me to.
Sure. It's up to you.
Basically, I can spend 2 destiny points, and if I succeed, me and all the allies within range of any person I pick ignore the armor of the target with all attacks for the next 3 rounds.
Holy shit.
There's
So
yeah,
technically,
go ahead.
Mike, that is to destroy vehicles. That would
Yeah.
be like blast a
Oh.
ship or a big vehicle with like your hand weapons, right? So yeah, that wouldn't
That's interesting because it
exactly work
says
in this
with
scenario.
all their non-vehicle attacks.
Your non-vehicle attacks, like in other words, you can shoot a starfighter out of the air with your blasters, with your hand blasters, like rather
Oh
than
my
having to
God.
like use ship cannons, right?
NVM, then I'm glad I was explicit about it.
Josh, what is your thing?
I will be able to be the last one standing when I go up against all of the minions in the room.
You want to pop last one standing?
I would be able to take out every single stormtrooper that shows up here.
Do
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I think
Give
that's
in.
Why not? Yes.
Dark
The
side.
thing that I think that could happen here is like we do that, and then Rich has not used any of his destiny points,
And I got
which
all of
also
them.
means that they would
Yeah.
they would come to,
Exactly.
like if you they come to us. So I think it's okay to use them because there's a potential that we get them.
You will.
Yeah.
You'll
Zoe
do.
would be like I think to like if prone and like kind of looking at it, like for giving a little like let me fight her look. So like if you don't deal with stormtroopers, like you go right for it.
Yeah, YOLO.
Yeah, I say do it. Absolutely do it.
Yeah, all right. So
No.
we're gonna spend
This
2
is one of
destiny
these
points.
great role-playing game moments where
I mean,
you
I got
stop
my
and
one
the
kill. I'm
tactics.
happy. You can have it.
Yeah.
You gonna do it? Last one standing?
Yeah, last one
Yeah.
standing.
Oh,
We're
or
gonna
we
spend-
could get more. We could get more film equipment.
True.
Turns
True.
out
This
that
film
they
equipment
were-
might
we
not
had-
make it
there was
out.
a bomb in the film equipment and it just exploded.
With that, I think that as you are pulling your last one standing on your next turn, you decimate everybody in the room. In the meantime, I think that Riva is going to strike at you, Rambo, with her lightsaber.
I dare say bring it.
You have armor plating, so that's going to help you. She's got this, she's got that. Ooh.
Oh, that's not a good roll.
So she slashes at you and proceeds to do a ton of damage. You don't drop, but it hurt. Like she F's you up pretty badly here, Rambo. I also have a big advantage on this, which I unfortunately am going to use to crit you.
Oh,
Oh,
And I did use one of my destiny points on this 50, which means that you guys have 1 destiny point right now.
Got it.
I have
Oh,
4.
no.
So as she crits you, Rambo, what happens is with a 50, a head ringer, she proceeds to cleave off a piece of your droid head with the lightsaber. I think she just like and
Did
brings
the
off
face fall off again?
I
a
think the face,
section
I
of
think the
your
face
head.
fell off.
Does the face fall off?
Yeah,
I
did you
think
like
so.
hit like the
Hinges
red bow and the
Yeah.
face fell off?
Yeah, and I think at that point that the faceplate just slowly slides off and clatters on the ground.
Wow, Grace and Rich, I am having serious real flashbacks.
Yeah,
Thank
Yeah,
Ferric.
right?
for
Yeah,
real.
for
yeah.
real.
Right, Brendan? Yeah.
Thank Ferric.
She cuts your face off, and so you, with this traumatic head injury, are going to have increased difficulty on any intelligence-related checks
That makes
that
sense.
you make
Yeah.
until the
Yeah.
end of the session.
I think it feels
Well,
fair
what if
that
his
if
brain
you
is
get
in
your
What
if
if
you
his
get your
brain is in his little leg?
face sliced off, that you should have that. Yeah.
Me dumb now. Okay.
That was her. She proceeds to like give you a point back as we like roll into Lubaka. Lubaka, describe to me in whatever detail you feel noteworthy.
Well,
how
here's
you
here's
literally defeat
no.
everyone in the room.
So here's what I'll say is, y'all seen Moon Knight? No,
Mhm.
no major Moon Knight spoilers. But there are times in Moon Knight where Oscar Isaac, as Moon Knight, blacks out, and when he wakes up, it's just surrounded by bodies. That happens to Lubaka.
Oh, no.
Now, since you all get to witness that, I think you all get to tell me what happened. But Lubaka is going to black out, having seen Zoe get hurled across the room, and he'll go, "Brah!" which is him saying, no, yeah, because he still thinks Zoe's name is yeah.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
with the fury of 1,000 suns, something happens that he is the last one standing as he's blacking out and destroying all the stormtroopers.
I think it should be a slow motion. Like I could see the like Ave Maria playing and just like
Yeah.
banging heads together.
Yeah, I think he's picking one up by the neck and using it to like bowl over several
Yeah.
of them.
He's like spinning around with the boom mic in his hands, just knocking dudes out in a circle. Yeah.
And then I think to culminate, he takes one and he just rips one in half vertically.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Wow.
And I think when he wakes up, he sees what's happening. He goes, "Bruh," which is
I mean, bag.
Siri Wook for bag.
As Lubaka is like slow motion with the operatic music, crushing, smashing, and obliterating stormtroopers left and right, tables flipping over. We just see like stormtroopers flying through the screen, crashing into walls, right? She has taken her action. What do the rest of you want to do? What do you want to do, Bo, after your face gets blown off?
Well, Bo, I don't know. Maybe if he was smarter, he would have more of a tactical decision. But right now, he has the base level of instincts, and he says, "Bad person, me shoot bad person." And so he will take his blaster rifle, because I'm assuming he's right up next to her, right? And he's just going to take a clean shot straight to the temple.
Okay. Bo, going ham here. One of these, right? Yup. I'm going to use another destiny point to throw another setback in here for you.
Okay.
You guys now have 2. You fail. Bo. As you blast, she weaves out of the way, and you manage to blast the ceiling. I think she knocks your arm up, like spinning underneath you, and you shoot the ceiling, and debris starts like falling all around you, creating like space between you. She's driven back a little bit, so you did no damage, but you like you've pushed her back to like the far side of the room as she leaps out of the way of like all these falling pieces of concrete from the ceiling.
Look out, it rain rocks now. He will then sort of like, I don't know, I guess he'll sort of like try to I don't know, so the stormtrooper situation is that Lubaka's got it, right?
Lubaka,
So, like,
you like wheel around and just see a stormtrooper fly past you, smashing into the wall while Lubaka is moving just
Yeah, I do think we do have a bit of an audience here as we are playing. And to Dave's point, I do think that Lubaka has probably ripped off a stormtrooper's arms and is now like double wielding arms.
I'm imagining like the slow motion with the Ave Maria now, the blood like flying off the end of the arm stump. It's like just so good.
Feeling that that's fairly taken care of, I think Bo will then try to like start to navigate through and around the debris to still try to get to Reva and probably also to get a bit towards poor Zoe as well in that hallway.
You got it. Feck, what do you want to do here?
Is there a stormtrooper body near me?
Yes,
behind
absolutely.
The okay. Yeah. Is that stormtrooper armed?
I think like one of the stormtroopers, you're like, is there a, no, there's not, crack, boom. And then one like falls into the scene, the blaster rolling out of their hand in front of you, you know?
So we just be armed with the blaster.
So what I want to do is I want to take the blaster from the stormtrooper and I want to like, what do you call it? I want to like overcharge the battery.
So it blows up?
Huh?
So it blows up.
And I'm gonna throw it. I'm gonna overcharge it and come up from behind the table and chuck it in the direction of Reva. Hoping that it explodes at her, basically.
Yeah. You've got it. With that fact, let me get you up here as you're like, you're making like this mechanics check to try to like fry out the blaster and heave it. One of
Come on,
these, one of
baby.
these.
Come on. Come on, lucky die.
Oh no, that was it. I rolled it already. You've gotten a huge triumph with a success, but you missed on the attack roll. You
Oh, no.
overcharge the blaster. You fry it out. You heave it towards the wall. It explodes, and this huge section of the ceiling and the wall like crumbles into rubble. You see the flashing of the red lightsaber amidst the dust, while stormtroopers fly left and right through the room. Wilhelm screaming all over the place. I think we hear like as like the droid comes like screaming out of the air vents, hammering into the hallway. It like smashes into the wall next to Zoe, and then turns and is like, you have seemingly obscured Riva. You can't see her in the back of the room anymore. Lubaka, you're like blinking all of a sudden, like, what happened? Why do I have these decapitated arms in my hands? As you come back to, you, Rambo, realizing like Riva is like blocked off by the dust and the explosion in the back of the room. Yeah, what do you guys want to do?
Time out, Rich. Wouldn't that allow for an attack of opportunity on Riva by Zoe?
Not
if
really.
She's temporarily blinded.
Yeah,
Okay.
not really. We're like we're moving through like all this weird kind of
just
mechanical stuff. Yep.
Can I feel like I haven't got right.
You have it. Yes. What do you want to do? Sorry.
Yeah,
I would like to Rich knocked me prone, I believe, just so I could use my jump up, which means I can jump up and down.
You get up for free
without
you
using
leap up.
Yeah, that was great.
Nice.
Grab my lightsaber. I would guess because I can't see it, Riva's like blind, right? Like
there's a moment where like, yeah, you see her in the back. I guess actually, let's say like you have a moment as you see Feck is like trying to like hotwire this gun, and Riva is like still exposed in the back before all of this goes down.
Well, is there a way to like if it's like if I like he's trying and it's like that's cool because like I feel like could Zoe try to like force move the like the whatever is like is it like the dust like just like clear the debris from in front of her?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can. You just like and you push the dust and you see her like rubble is like smashed her. She's kind of like wedged up against the corner with one leg like caught in the rock, like pulling it free. And then what do you want to do? Yeah.
Can I jump towards her again? Or
sure, yeah, sure.
I would do that.
You gonna lunge back into the room and attack?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Go for it. I'm rolling all your dice. Hold on one second. As you come like flying back into the room, you guys watch just at the same moment that like Feck like the blaster is like overcharging in your hand. You're like blinking yourself back to consciousness, Louis. The little like astromech droid zooms past you, Rambo, into the hall, and you leap down here, Zoe. Let me make an attack roll. I'm gonna use more destiny dice. I'm gonna burn another destiny.
Yeah, we should be thinking about using our destiny dice.
Yep, you guys now have 3 in total.
Oh, okay.
Is Mike, is that the thing you can do with Destiny, or is there other things you can do?
That's the only thing I can do with
okay,
the
what can you
dice.
just to say, what can you do, Fitzy? What can Feck do?
It's all piloting stuff.
Okay, all right.
Well, though we can use single individual ones.
Yes,
though.
okay.
True.
Yes.
You can just add single points to like any of your rolls to try to basically upgrade the dice. So as Zoe goes, oh gosh, you have a success. So you hit, dealing a whole bunch of damage as you like slash down with this lightsaber. The black like shining armor like severs, blood like spraying out as she like growls, smoke coming off her flesh, and like she turns looking at you, unfortunately, with 2 major threats. I think she does get a shot back at you, Zoe.
Okay. Is there a benefit to taking it as mental strain instead of physical
if you
strain?
want to try to parry here, the idea is mental strain you can get rid of at the end of the encounter. Like as soon as this fight is done, you can try to like shirk off the mental strain, whereas actual physical injury is like much tougher to heal, takes longer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's gonna go for you. You have armor. Here's a 3 difficulty. She swings, no destiny points. Oof. She hits Zoe. She like slashes you badly on your shoulder. You feel like hot blood like soaking underneath your clothes. Terrible pain. Or do you want to try to deflect it? You want to try to parry?
Sure.
Okay. Just bear with me. This is like crazy for me rolling all the
Yeah,
dice.
you're being the only
Yeah.
person rolling. You're doing an awesome job.
I'm trying to keep up the pace here. Okay, when making use the lightsaber check, right? Okay, for parry, right? Right.
Mhm.
Who's Perry?
Who's
Who
Exactly.
is Perry?
Yeah. He's on the
you-
ranch, Rich.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. There's
What
a
about
great void.
Pass the damn potatoes.
Yeah.
Amazing. She swings for you, Zoe, missing, but garnering some advantage in the mix. So I think that as she swings, you leap back away from her, avoiding the hit, parrying easily, actually. Or that's your roll. I'm getting all confused.
she hit me
hits
and
you.
then I'm yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You don't successfully parry, but
Yes.
it's at this point that the explosion goes off, and you're able to kind of leap back, pulling the astromech droid away from it so it is not damaged or destroyed. And you watch seemingly as Reba appears to be like buried in the rubble in the corner of the room, like isolating her from you. The stormtroopers are all dead. The astromech droid is just like freaking out like Bo, like, we have to go now. Second sister is on her way back. The ship's just re-entered the atmosphere.
We go now. Very much hurry. And so are we like out of initiative technically, or are we still in the middle?
Yeah, the enemies appear to be dispatched. So Riva is like obscured, hidden, buried in rubble, alive. Certainly will not come back another day to haunt anyone. And the stormtroopers are all dead. The hallway open. It's the four of you in this astromech droid.
Awesome. Let's get out of here.
I think Lubaka, realizing what he's done, will drop the two arms and will retrieve the boom mic and will be very, very quiet throughout all of this.
Yeah. So I'm gonna run towards the door and let's
Bo will
get
hop
the Wookiees on our way out. Yeah.
Bo will hop on the astromech droid to ride him out.
Perfect.
Excellent. As you like sit on it, or are you like Supermaning on the top?
No, I'm not gonna Superman. I'm gonna.
Sorry, it was my first thought. What do you?
No, he'll sort of like crouch over it, like keeping his center of gravity as the droid sort of goes like zzz, because I'm assuming this thing has more speed than probably Bo does with his long strides.
Yeah, with his weird like funky legs. Yeah, you're almost riding it like a Segway as you're sitting on the back. The droid like flying down the halls, taking left and right turns, Feck running along. You've got like your cannon in your hands. The group of you like are hearing alarms.
Can I say
off
Reva
now.
or like I think Zoe's like looking like at the pile of being like that doesn't feel it's like as the dust is settling, like holding the lightsaber will like turn it off, like it will like retract and then like turn and like look at the group and then decide to follow. Yeah.
It is that like lingering shot of you standing in the door, looking at the rubble on the side, the lightsaber hilt as you hook it back to your belt and turn, watching the group make their way down the hall, choosing to follow and go with them. Like striding after them. I think the group of you, like the astromech droid frantically beeping and whirring at Rambo. They're coming, troopers in the hallways, is like leading you through panels, opening and closing blast doors. The group of you run until finally the big double blast doors to the front open. You see this wide open yard, vehicles arrayed all over the place, Imperial cruisers, ST walkers, alarms like blaring. There are a bunch of like clone troopers out here, or stormtroopers, I should say, out here on the yard. Not many, but like another 4 or 5 that all like turn, wheeling back at you as you come. Blaster fire starts coming towards the group of you at the door. What do you guys want to do?
Are we in visual range of the Wookiee cages?
Yes, I think. Imagine you're standing on like a big set of stairs leading down, and just right in front of you to the right and left, like 50 feet. Wookiees on the left, Wookiees on the right.
And what's the setup? Is it like, I don't know, like the Star Wars equivalent of electric fences? Like, what are they caged in by?
Yeah, so they're like just big steel kind of bars almost.
Right.
Ironically, like amazingly, there's not electric on them because I didn't think about that until right now.
I'm gonna say,
yeah.
I'm gonna turn to Zoe and say, let's get those cages open.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take aim at one of the doors and blow the lock off of it.
Okay.
I don't know how much of a roll that needs to be.
You got it. As you fire, what about the rest of you guys? What do you want to do?
Are there now Wookiees pouring out of the cages?
Not yet. They're not open yet. So,
Okay.
no.
I mean,
Can I hold off?
Can I see any Wookiees?
Yes, there are Wookiees in
Yeah.
cages down in front of you.
I think that Louis would be looking at the cages and seeing if he can't see Lashtraka.
I think
Aw.
Feck fires, sparks blasting off the front of one of the cages as the door like throws open, and you just hear a cacophony, much like the beginning of this recording of as a wave 50 Wookiees strong come pouring out of the opening gate to this giant cave. The stormtroopers, again, the four of them like turning, firing into the mass of fur and groans and stinky wet dog smell. Wookiees just swarm over them. But I think that like one stops in this like central column, the walkway leading towards the center gate, turning to look at the four of you on the stairs. And you see him, Lubaka. His fur is blackish green. He stands a solid 4 inches taller than you, as he always have. Massive, hulking. The scars from when he fought with Master Quinlan Voss during the Clone Wars on Kashyyyk, apparent on the side of his face, as you see your brother, Leshraka. And he roars at you. And what he's saying is like, what the hell are you doing here?
Yeah, and Louis roars back, "Bah! I don't really know how this happened, but Dad sent me to find you."
Dad's always a dick. Don't take what he says about you seriously. You have a great mind.
Thank you so much, Lashtraka. I've always been waiting for one of my own blood relatives to give me that kind of feedback, and I have been waiting for so long.
I'll be honest with you. After the last few years working in this Wookiee internment camp, I'm really revisiting our entire sociological order in terms of valuing violence over philosophical thought.
Amazing.
And I think that
Let's go home and watch a ton of movies. I've got a bunch of new DVDs from Maurice, whatever his name is.
I love Maurice. And like, other Wookiees now are ripping the gate open to the second pen. More Wookiees pouring out. I think Wookiees are like roaring and screaming all over the place.
Yeah, they're all saying, "To the Maurice movie."
Yeah. Maurice,
Maurice.
Space Cowboy.
Do it for Maurice.
What are the rest of you doing as this like reunion is like happening? Neither of them moving to like embrace one another. They're screaming at each other from like 100 feet away. Yeah.
I hope Feck would be impressed. Pull out a blaster and trying to fend off the stormtroopers that are on her
Bo would
tail.
do the same.
Yeah, the
Same.
pair of you
Yeah.
are like blasting back down the hallway as the stormtroopers are like racing from inside the compound towards you. The little Imperial astromech droid and the blast doors close, and he's just like frantically like, we've got to get out of here. Look, as in the sky, blaster fire from a TIE interceptor modified heavily to accommodate that of the Sith Inquisitors sent by Emperor Palpatine himself as the commander of the station's second sister zooms the yard, dropping auto turret fire into the mass of Wookiees. Wookiees are dying left and right.
Hey, can you take down a ship there, Mike Bloom, with the
I mean,
Destiny
Yeah,
points?
whatchamacallits? Yeah,
Yeah,
do it.
I will expend 2 destiny points to use the bigger they are.
Engage.
the bigger they are. With that, how do we see this? What does it look like, Rambo, as you call for your allies to take their weaponry and fire upon this TIE interceptor screaming over this battling yard?
Yeah, so I think Rambo will sort of he'll sort of like he will retract his left hand, bring out the short sword again, and he will unscrew it, and he will look to the ship, and he'll look to all of you, and he'll say, "Big thing, blow up," and he'll huck the sword through the air like a javelin to go
Because
pierce.
of your strong arm, you can in fact throw a sword through a starship. So let's see if you do. As you heave the sword, burning 2 of your destiny points, the bigger they are, you are going to knock this thing out of. Holy.
There's a lot of little
Mike Bloom.
Batman things. Yeah.
Like Blue.
You would look to your allies to fire with you, but as you heave the sword, the interceptor drops low. It's a terrible sight as Wookiee bodies are being blasted up like ragdolls out of this crowd, while this vicious, dark Sith unloads, and you heave. And I think the camera tracks on the cartwheeling end of the sword as it spins end over end, blasting through the protective barrier of the cockpit, hammering into the helmet of the woman driving, the second sister, as it shatters, shards of plasticine raining out. The ship cartwheels, system failure. She hits the eject. You watch as the seat fires hundreds of feet into the sky. Thrusters firing to lower it safely to the ground. Wookiees screaming madly, those who survived, as Leshraka, the black-green furred brother of Lubaka, races up the stairs and shoves in your hands, Lubaka, a grown-up bowcaster.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll tell Dad you did real good. Get out of here.
Let's get to the ship.
but I don't know how to use this thing.
Yes, you do. You always have.
Aw.
And I think the music swells. Da, 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 da. As a lot of you begin to run, there are Wookiees storming into Imperial transports all over the place. You're watching ships rise off the ground as the TIE interceptor explodes in this catastrophic blast from where it lies disabled on the ground. What do we see as the lot of you with your new astromech droid race back for the Ethan Hawke?
I think Lubaka is thinking about what his brother said, and he's holding onto the gun tightly as he's running with his new friends, and he's trying to multitask as he goes. So he is affixing his tiny little trainee crossbow gun. He's putting the keychain and like looping it on like one of like the holes in the new version as a lucky souvenir. Now that he has a grown-up bow gun.
I hit the button on the side of my blaster that pops open the gangway on the ship so that we can get on. And just running towards the ship. Yeah.
Do we pass through the room that we were in before where we fought Reva?
No.
No,
The
we're already
room's like
outside.
behind you. You're
Yeah.
already outside. Yeah.
Oh, we're
Is there a
outside.
flashback? Do you double back?
Yes, I picked up the mask. I picked up the helmet.
Yes. I think
Yeah.
we see it, Grace, as you're running with the
Yeah.
others, right?
Yeah.
I think the camera like drops down in and we see it hanging off your belt beneath your Hothnian robes.
Yeah.
Rambo, the final moment of our protocol sociopath.
Yeah, so I think that Rambo would pick up the would like, I guess because we're running, I'm assuming, sort of he'll make like a beeline for the TIE fighter to try to like find his sword. He's sort of like it back on. But as he's running towards the Ethan Hawke, because part of his brain has still been cut off. His depth perception is like not the most accurate. So he'll run like clang square into one of the little like legs that it was standing on before then course correcting and running back up the ramp, back up the gangplank into the ship.
And I think that as we see like bang, Rambo like bounce off of the leg, circle around, kind of like discombobulated for a moment before he kind of staggers up with his non-bendy legs into the back of the ship. The ship starts to rise before the gangplank even closes. It begins to close. The blasters fire, the like smoke-stained ash of the Genosian soil blasting away. And I think that we see the Ethan Hawke at the lead of this small entourage of Imperial cruisers filled with Wookiee prisoners as the lot of you surge up and away from Genosha. And that, as the music swells and I hum John Williams, we get the swipe cut closing down in on the small black and orange ship with this band of scruffy looking nerf herders that have freed the Wookiee prisoners of Genosha.
Scruffy looking.
Scene. I'm sorry, I'm not mouth trumpeting appropriately. We get a Star Wars! We get a Star Wars,
A
guys!
Star Wars. Holy moly.
That was great, Rich.
That
that
was
cool?
incredible. That was
was
awesome.
super
cool.
I'm impressed with every one of your characters in completely amazing ways.
Yours too, man. It's
And
so
you-
good.
Yeah, dude.
You guys
We
did awesome.
needed that leader, that commander.
Rich,
you were
great
absolutely
job.
that.
Yeah.
Feck,
Rich,
yeah, was
Rich,
really
that
like.
was
Heck yeah.
fantastic.
Heck
Thank you
yeah.
very much.
Heck
Heck
yeah.
Feck, yeah. Feck really like on point at the center of this thing. I knew like bringing in a ringer and Fitzy would be good. He has played a lot of Star Wars role-playing games, was very much like, I know exactly who I'm playing, you know.
I can't believe
Like,
the moisture. I can't believe the moisture evaporator commercial.
you
love
brought
it.
I mean, the dice
So
are
good.
crazy.
Better call
I was
Beck.
waiting to see how far we would get. Like
Better call Feck.
Rambo was ready to become like the camera and like pretend to start filming things if
That's
need be.
hilarious.
good.
Yeah,
Once we got
Lubako
inside,
was
I knew we had to like
inspired.
just yeah.
Yeah, it really was like quite a joy. And Grace, thank you very much for taking on the human force user. I feel like
Yes.
you guys came up
Oh,
with
that
an
you were
excellent group.
awesome.
And
I
I
was
hope
so happy
I'm
we
so
had a force
good.
user. It was great.
Got me so good, Rich.
it was pretty good, right? Just enough
I
to set you up.
I cannot believe that you did that. That was wild.
Do we know this character, Reva?
Do I what?
Do we know him? Do we know her as Star Wars fans? Because we will.
We
At
will,
the end
yeah.
of the month. Brace
Oh.
yourself, my friends. I have a feeling that Reva will return and she will not be under my control anymore. So I
Whoa.
hope that nothing that I did today contradicts anything that may yet occur when she appears in Tatooine at the
Mhm.
end of May.
Ooh.
We'll
How
see.
uncivilized, Rich.
Mm.
Well, it's a perfect segue, Rich, to talk about what you might be hearing from us next when it comes to Star Wars. Because the very next thing that's going to be dropping in your feeds is a little bit of a preview, a kickoff show into what we know so far about Obi-Wan. Admittedly, we don't know a lot. They dropped a trailer actually this past week, of course, on May the 4th, and I loved it. And did not give too much away. Very much vibes, to quote Josh Regler, very much a vibes trailer, which made me super excited for what's to come. But basically, next up, it's going to be myself, Rich, and Latanya. Rich, you were like slowly Wizard of Oz style, like regathering the podcasters, right? Like it was you on the top 10 one. Now it's you and me on the RPG, and then it'll be you, me, and Latanya on this next one. But the trio will be coming back together to preview Obi-Wan, whether you are a hard and fast fan of all things Obi-Wan, whether you just know him from Alec Guinness or Ewan McGregor, or you need a reminder, because again, it's been a hot second since we've seen
A hot second.
a hot second, exactly. Quite the opposite of a hot second since we've seen that lovely beard show its face on the sands of Tatooine. We're going to keep you up to date with Obi-Wan, the character, as well as what we know about the show so far, including a character who was introduced tonight in the form of Reva. So that is coming along with, of course, episodic coverage that's going to be coming of Obi-Wan Kenobi, dropping the first 2 episodes on May 27th and then airing on Wednesdays thereafter. So we got a little bit of like a month plus of Obi-Wan, which isn't nearly enough, but listen, it's better than 0. So like we count ourselves lucky in that way. And we count ourselves incredibly lucky to have done this entire thing. I would consider this experiment, I don't have to roll dice for it, I'd consider it a success. Like, blast icons across the board in a manner of speaking. And that is all due to you, Rich. This was very, very great. I know you had a lot of different hats to wear over the course of this evening, but between the dice rolling, the storytelling, etc., you knocked it out of the park as per usual.
Thank you very much. I spent some time thinking about this one. I thought it would be a fun adventure. I was trying to think about how to thread all you guys back together. It's a really interesting game system. I've been curious about it for years. When Mando season 2 ended, I got very fired up and was like, I need to be playing a Star Wars role-playing game on the regular. And I started reading this and was like, okay, I'm going to need commitment to get people on board to learn this game with me. So I figured out the better way is I'll just learn the rules and be like, hey guys, let's do this thing. So thank you all for trusting me to participate in this. It was very, very,
so
very
fun.
Yes, it was a ton of fun, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to show Jess Sterling that even a whiny Wookiee is pretty cool.
Pretty badass, actually.
Yeah.
Pretty badass.
Yeah. Spice whiny Wookiee, if you will.
Spice whiny Wookiee, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Considering the haul that we got. We'll go around the horn here because we are all busy in our respective quadrants of the galaxy as well, in pod space, as it were, to do a lot of plugs for a lot of things that are happening. Rich, I'll throw it back to you first, actually. What do you have going on outside of our upcoming Obi-Wan coverage?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can catch me streaming Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletop role-playing games, very likely the Fantasy Flight Star Wars games coming up soon at Twitch TV/DM Philly. I'm over there every Tuesday night with the great Grace Leader herself, where we play similarly to Star Wars. We play Spelljammer, which is basically D&D in space. This very Friday, I have Melissa Woodward, Austin Smith, a bunch of our friends from PSR are going to be streaming over there for a game of Humble Your, where we play Dungeons and Dragons, but they're tiny little forest animals, and it's adorable. And so, yeah, that's the gist of it. I'm going to be podcasting with you. I'm over there streaming games all the time. You can hire me to run games for yourself or your friends or your kids if that's a thing you want. Find me on Twitter at DM Philly. I'm always happy to talk about this stuff.
All right, Josh, I would ask you to give your plugs, but that would be essentially the length of a Star Wars opening crawl. Any
Too
sort
much
of highlights?
stuff. Yes.
Any highlights you want to give?
Some highlights. Better Call Saul is ongoing, so Antonio Mazzaro and I are pushing towards the end of the first half of the final season is almost upon us. So that is really exciting that we are at that place here. Also this week, we finally got coverage of the Moon Knight finale up a little bit later Gators than we would have liked, but we did get the podcast out. And Kevin Mahadeo and I have seen Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and shall be recording our podcast about that this week as well. The only other thing that I'll add is that May 27th, you mentioned, Mike, is the Obi-Wan Kenobi premiere day. It is also the premiere day for the first half of season 4 of Stranger Things on Netflix, which Mike Bloom and I shall be podcasting about. And I assume that by the time you are listening to this podcast in the podcast feed, not the case if you are watching this live at twitch.tv/GMPhilly, you may already have a Stranger Things podcast in your Stranger Things podcast feed. So seek that out if you're excited about Stranger Things. Mike and I are very excited about it, and we are already getting going on getting back to the Upside Down.
That's where we started your great role-playing career once upon a time, Josh.
Indeed.
Yeah, look how far we've come. We've aged as gracefully as those kids,
Yes.
from the role-playing perspective as well as an age perspective. Grace, I know that, my goodness, you have so many things going on at this moment.
I won't say everything. So, but Winning Time wrapping up soon. The Wilds has been great, and Heartstopper has been really great. So, but lots more than that, movie coverage as well. So, everything I'm doing, you can follow me at Hi From Grace on Twitter, and you'll be kept up to date.
Yes, Heartstopper, the nickname of Rambo after the brutal
Oh God.
slaughtering his
The
son.
name got me so good. I'd been I'd like filled you in as Bloom Bot in my own notes, but when I got the name from you today, I just died. It was very good.
Yeah.
Good job.
And Fitzy, you've got so much stuff going on both in and out of post-show recaps. For those that might not be aware, a lot of things that we do here would not be possible without the great work that Fitzy does, for lack of a better term, behind the curtain, but not just with Down the Hatch. So when it comes to being on the microphone, what have you got going on?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Fitzy Brendan and at Ladder Movie Podcast. Every week, Zach Brooks and I get together and podcast about a different movie that has something to do with the movie we watched the previous week, building our own little film ladder week to week. Grace has been on that podcast. She's one of our favorite guests. It's a lot of fun. And this week we are doing a pre-MCU Marvel movie. We are covering Ghost Rider.
Oh man,
which
I know.
neither Zach or I have ever seen. So we are incredibly excited. And yeah, we're excited. We'll see where it goes from there, whether we stick around the pivot to the MCU at all, or if we stick with devil-related movies. You'll have to tune in and find out.
Or just do Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. It's right there, the sequel.
That too. But yeah,
I think Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance is legit dope, by the way.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of fun this year on the podcast. Hopefully people are checking out the Movie Ladder podcast and enjoying it. It's one of those shows where you can just pick up an episode here and there if we're covering a movie you like, and send us feedback. We love getting feedback and ratings. So that's about all that's going on with me.
Awesome. So be sure to check all of that out, as well as everything going on post-show recaps. You know me, at a Mike Bloom type. Josh and I are doing Lost stuff. Deidre and I are doing Barry stuff. Talked about Stranger Things. Maybe something else is coming down the pike in the next couple of weeks, but I'll never tell for a little bit of time. But be sure to check out all that stuff that's happening both with us and everything happening on post-show recaps. It is quite literally a galaxy of coverage, and we are so happy to have you in it, no matter what you may engage in. Be sure you're subscribed to not only our post-show recaps podcast, but our Star Wars only feed, because now we are sort of like humming this back up, right? We're starting to get more stuff here. In case you missed it, these three, Rich, Josh, and Grace, also did the ranking of the top 10 movies and TV shows in the Star Wars universe based on you, the patrons of post-show recaps, which, of course, if you want the luxuries of being able to vote in these types of polls, as well as be able to participate in an ungodly amount of things, postshowrecaps.com/patron, and especially if you're an RPG fan, oh my goodness, our D&D community is humming. Josh and I were in like a 9-hour play-by-post game last night at the time of recording this that was super fun. So if you're into the RPGs, like, you are among your people if you become a patron of Post Show Recaps. Again, postshowrecaps.com/patron. So that's going to do it for this iteration of the Star Wars podcast. Next week, we finally dig our hands into Obi-Wan.
Borg?
Yeah, exactly.
Too soon. Too soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Louis.
No, it just turns to sand in our hands. It is rough, it is coarse, and it gets everywhere, but it feels so good, as we're going to preview Obi-Wan next week before the May 27th premiere. Expect that in your feed probably somewhere between May 18th to 20th, and then we'll be there for the first 2 episodes from then on out. Thank you all so much for listening. May the Force be with you. Yeah.
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 Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also with you.
Yeah. Uh-huh.